Hello everyone, welcome to Manga Hub. Here you can get different manhwa which you can watch for free. If you like the video, please like, subscribe and comment, which will motivate me to upload videos. Enjoy the video.
The Lolo Empire hosts a drifting competition, and a little girl with eyes like fire floats in a cradle on a river. Her name is Lin, and she is 19 years old, though she looks like a baby. She is actually an ordinary student of the 21st century. 3 days ago, while on a date, she and her boyfriend were involved in a car accident. When she woke up, she found herself a 3-month-old baby. The parents are pushing the basket with sticks and encouraging the girl to move forward. Lin is floating among the other participants and thinks that in this world these two are her own parents, and besides her there are 3 older sons in the family, and for some reason this couple loves them much more than her. A father shouts to his daughter that if she wins first place, her emperor will adopt her and she will become a princess. Her family's happiness depends on Lin. In the future, her brothers will get married and need money, so everything is in her hands. The mother also shouts at her daughter that she cannot lose and tells her to keep going. Lin doesn't know what the emperor of this country is doing when he suddenly chooses a commoner to be his adopted daughter. She thinks this is totally abnormal. Newborn girls from all over the country are sent across the river, and the one who arrives first becomes the emperor's daughter. It's ridiculous. The girl wonders if she is the only one who thinks that there is not a single drop of common sense in this. The children are screaming in their cradles, and their parents are cheering them on from the shore. Emperor Seo watches all this and asks the seer if he is sure that his prediction is not wrong, and if any of this crying garbage will be able to save his son in the future. A seer named Luo asks His Highness to just believe him. He has carefully calculated everything and can say with certainty that in 10 years there will be a great catastrophe in the Lolo Empire, and their prince will die in that catastrophe. On that day, only a chosen girl will sacrifice herself to save the prince. And according to the old seer of the Lolo Empire, she can only be chosen in this way. The ruler of the empire still trusts the old seer. Seo noticed Lin and said that this little trash was a little different from the others. Luo asks His Highness if he has already found the girl of his choice. He congratulates Seo on having a little princess, but the emperor asks him not to be too hasty, because he needs to know for sure if she can become the princess of the Lolo Empire. The emperor starts to use magic, but the seer asks him to wait because he should not use his magic, because he might scare the people, and his magic is too strong, so he might hurt them. Shio orders the conversation to stop because he knows his limits. A large dragon appears above the river. The parents on the shore are frightened, and the children start screaming even more. The cradles containing the children begin to sink. The parents realize that it is time to stop this race and run to save their children. Meanwhile, Lin's parents continue to cheer on their daughter, who has just caught a big wave that is carrying her faster to the finish line. Meanwhile, the girl does not understand what has happened, but she has seen the dragon appear and make such a big wave. She is trying not to fall out of the cradle. She thinks that other children are protected by their parents, but her relatives are so foolish that they do not save the girl. In this situation, she can only rely on herself. Now Seo is sure that this girl is exactly what he needs. The emperor orders the dragon to fly and bring the girl here. So the dragon took Lin away. Her parents are proud that their daughter is the best, and they are sure that when she becomes a princess, their family's life will change. Meanwhile, Lin wonders if she is the chosen one. Seo wants to take a closer look at the little princess. As the emperor holds the girl in his arms, he says that the little garbage is really ugly. Lin doesn't think she's ugly at all. Seo gives the girl to Luo, who says that she has to grow up first, and if she is not conscious in 10 years, he will kill her personally. He also tells her that the palace doesn't grow unnecessary garbage, and when she is 3 years old, she will do small jobs. His Highness has always hated women. He killed all women who touched him, even the prince's mother. But this time, he touched the little princess himself. Lin was given her own room. A maid named Shirley plays with the future princess, who asks her to wait until her food is ready and tells another maid, Catherine, to hurry. The girl's name is Lin, and an hour ago the Emperor adopted her, making her the only princess of the Lolo Empire. She was given a new name, C. And Shirley and Catherine are her personal maids who take care of the girl. Catherine puts on her makeup and tells Shirley to take her time. She says the baby will not starve, and she will wait until she is done with her makeup. This is terrible for C. She is only 3 months old, a baby, and can only drink milk. With a lot of effort, she was able to become a princess and enter the palace, but she is always insulted. She screams and refuses to be ignored. Catherine finishes her lessons, but she says that she is bored to death with this girl. C thinks she will finally get some milk. The maid takes the princess's clothes. She feeds her with a bottle. C finds this treatment too cruel. Catherine reminds her that she told the princess not to anger the elders and orders her to drink it all or she will kill her. C can't breathe, her back hurts, and the maid is holding her too tightly. C realizes that she is a small child and too weak to resist. Shirley takes the child away from Catherine, who asks how she can do this to a girl since she is a princess. C wants to ask the girl why she took her away so late and explain that this wicked woman almost killed her. Catherine says that Shirley is stupid because the girl is a commoner and illegitimate, and she really treats her like a princess. C had heard that since this emperor had come to power, there had never been a woman in the palace. Even the prince's mother, Queen Cher, had died. But now there are women in the palace. C thinks Shirley is stupid for not realizing that the girl is a little goddess who has not yet grown up. She thinks that Catherine, who has only breasts and a face, can also be understood. Before she arrived, these rooms belonged to Queen Cher, and it is not surprising that she thinks she is a goddess and now insults C. The girl assumes that Catherine must be dreaming that the emperor will pay attention to her and that she will become the mother of an empire. Suddenly, the girl notices someone outside the window, and it seems to be the emperor. C thinks that if Catherine is so eager for him to visit her bedside, then this beautiful child will help her. The girl begins to cry loudly, thinking that such a cry will attract the emperor's attention. Catherine asks her why she is crying again, and she says that this child is really hard to serve. And Catherine tries to calm the girl down, thinking that she is afraid. The girl tries to calm C down with milk, but the princess realizes that crying is a child's preference, and if she puts the bottle in her mouth, she won't be able to cry. And the princess's food falls on the floor. The emperor enters the room and asks why the princess is crying so much. Catherine is in a bad mood. She can't let His Highness know that she made the girl cry. The emperor demands to know why the princess is crying so much, or they will both die by his order. Shirley wonders what she can do to save Catherine. C thinks that this stinking emperor has come at the right time and shouldn't ask anything, just arrest the woman. Catherine starts to say that it was all Shirley's fault and that she made the princess cry, but the princess cannot let the good-hearted maid get hurt. It's time to show off her amazing acting skills, and she hopes that Shio will understand everything through her facial expressions. Catherine tells His Highness not to be angry, explaining that Shirley is too young to understand how to entertain children. Shirley defends herself by saying that it was obviously Catherine who made the little princess cry. The emperor does not understand the girl's act, and Catherine wants to take her in her arms, but C clearly expresses that she does not want to. Suddenly C tells Catherine not to touch the child. She orders him to give the girl to him, explaining that she is his daughter and he can kill her or hold her. He says that this little child is really ugly. The princess doesn't want this rascal to think that she is a child and therefore doesn't understand anything. She can see from his expression that he thinks she is cute. He says one thing but thinks another. Catherine found it hard to imagine that His Highness could be so kind, and she thinks that she should not miss this chance. She approaches the emperor from behind and embraces him. C wants the emperor to pay attention to her back. Her back hurts because Catherine grabbed her tender white skin so hard. Catherine tells His Highness that if he likes the princess so much, she can give birth to him. C thinks that after saying that, she has a good chance of dying prematurely. The girl thinks that C will be very angry now. His Highness grabs the maid's hand and tells her that she doesn't deserve it. He orders the guards to seize the woman, cut her into 8 pieces, and throw her out of the palace. The guard takes her hands and Catherine screams at His Highness that he cannot do this to her. She then asks him if he didn't choose her out of many women and invite her to the palace, and all she can think is that he can't kill her. C thinks the fool doesn't realize that the stinking emperor brought her and Shirley to the palace to take care of them, and she wanted to go to bed with him. Shio says that all the women in the world are just garbage. The girl wants to remind him that she is a woman too. Besides, how can he touch her when he condemns all women on this planet? Shio tells Cheryl that his palace never needed women. They only came here to take care of the princess, nothing more. If anyone gets the wrong idea, he will feed them to the dogs. C agrees with her father, but she won't let him hurt Cheryl. C orders Cheryl to feed the princess right away. Cheryl looks at the princess's back and thinks she must be in a lot of pain. But C drinks her milk and thinks that if she eats, she can forget everything. Suddenly, His Highness approaches and orders Cheryl to leave. He takes the princess in his arms so hard that the milk bottle falls out of her mouth and falls down. C tells the girl to stay still and promises to heal her now. C hadn't noticed before, but now she sees that the emperor is quite handsome. His Highness uses magic to heal the wound on the girl's back. But contrary to expectations, the healing magic has no effect. Co tries again. Cheryl tells His Highness that the princess is only slightly injured and that she shouldn't use too much energy as it could harm her. This spell blinds C a bit. Suddenly, her back feels cold. Her wound has healed a bit. Incredible, the princess can absorb His Highness magic. Co looks at her daughter's back where there was a wound. C doesn't like the look at all. The emperor takes the girl like a thing and carries her somewhere. C wants to leave, but she doesn't know where they are going. Cheryl asks His Highness if he is taking the princess with him. Co takes her daughter to the meeting room of the Lolo Empire, where she is surrounded by the commander-in-chief, the imperial bodyguard, and the seer. They tell her to look at them and tell her not to be afraid. Strange little bright lights enter her body. C gets tired of the stairs. In the assembly hall, everyone discusses the fact that magic does not work on the princess at all. The girl now realizes that the little lights that appeared on her hands are magic. Does this mean that no one in the world can harm her with magic? Co orders her to check again. The emperor orders his dragon to eat the little trash. C thinks that eating it would be a great loss for them. After trying, the dragon just looks at the girl because he cannot eat her. This little beauty was only scared of him once, and he will not be able to do it again. It doesn't matter if she is attacked with magic or healed, this child can absorb everything. The emperor takes this as a good sign and wonders if there is anything she cannot absorb. He believes that everything that has happened today must remain within these walls. Co informs him that as of today, this child no longer has the title of princess, and to have the palace maid Shirley take her away. He adds that there is no need to worry about her as long as she does not starve. This secret must not be known in other lands, or the girl will not live to be 10 years old. C wonders what he is doing because she has such an amazing power, and shouldn't she develop it? And he wants to keep her within 4 walls. His Highness may act like this, but he still thinks of the princess, even though his attitude toward children is still cruel. Luo thinks it's a good thing that the princess is too young to understand this, because otherwise she would have resentment in her heart. His Highness cares about this child, but because of his actions, the curse may manifest itself again. Meanwhile, the emperor is worried about the safety of the garbage. Suddenly, a magic arrow flies towards C. As expected, a magic spot appears on His Highness' hand. 3 years have passed. C has learned to walk. Since her abilities were discovered 3 years ago, the girl's position has declined. She became a little maid who could be bullied by anyone. C was especially abused by Zio's adopted daughter Zhen. After the emperor threw her in here 3 years ago, he adopted 3 more girls as daughters. Unlike C, these adopted daughters have their own palaces and many servants. The princesses' names are Zhen, Fan, and Mei. The emperor is said to be most fond of Zhen. She eats the most luxurious food of all the princesses. When Jen insulted C again when her guard kicked her to the ground, C agreed that the princess was right and it was her fault. She stood up, bowed, and said that a little girl should not be so thin and invisible to be kicked by her bodyguard. She said she wondered if the little girl had gotten his feet dirty, although C is sure that one day she will take revenge on these people who humiliate her. But now she has neither the power nor the influence over the emperor, and she should not act impulsively. All she can do is sit in silence and wait for the time when she will be strong. Jen approaches C and slaps her for smiling. She tells her that if she knows she has made his feet dirty, she should clean them. Luo and Co watch what is happening. The seer says that Princess Jen is so small but already so evil, and he feels very sorry for Princess C. The emperor says that the weak are not worthy of pity and should be trampled underfoot. Luo says that Princess C is only 3 years old, and even if she resists, she will not be able to resist the 5-year-old Princess Jen. Besides, guests of honor from neighboring countries have arrived today, so it is an important day. The emperor doesn't meet important guests, but he came to see the little princess, so isn't he worried about her? Co says that age is no reason to be weak, and Luo agrees. Although the emperor speaks so harshly, the seer knows that even though 3 years have passed, he still worries about the girl. Every night at midnight he comes to her bedside and looks at his daughter. Co says that the reason he pays attention to the girl is that if she dies, there will be no one to save his son in 7 years. Luo thinks that he now looks like a stubborn dead duck who refuses to admit his feelings. Jen orders his guard Gao to beat Sheila, who is holding C, to death. The princess says that in such a large palace, there is no one to teach her a lesson. His Highness says that a maid cannot interfere in a conversation. The girl tells the maid to go away and let her polish the guard's shoes, or she will be beaten to death. But Shirley refuses, saying that even if she is not treated like a princess, she is still a princess, and asks how she can let her shine the guard's shoes. If anyone finds out in the future, she will not be able to marry. Jen tells Gao that if they don't want to shine his shoes, he can continue to beat them, or he can kill her with magic. Jen reminds them that they must do this soon, as they still have time to attend the festival. Gao obeys the order, but reminds her that she cannot be late. With the guard's magic, a green snake appears and takes Shirley and C into a ring. Luo sees that the princess has used magic. They cannot let them find out that the princess is able to absorb magic. Otherwise, the emperor's 3-year plan will be completely destroyed. The seer has no time to ask Shio what he is going to do. He summons a dragon, and the animal is grabbed by a snake, which twists the maid and C. The girl recognizes the dragon, and Jen sees her guard and his snake torn to pieces. Jen immediately begins to cry and hurries to tell her father that someone has killed her guard. The man says that he knows, and the princess thinks that her father loves her more than anyone, and will definitely help her find the killer. The girl hugs her father and says that she is very afraid, and he tells her not to be afraid and that he is there for her. Even though C calls the emperor stinky, Jen still thinks of him as a favorite father. He came at the right time, and the girl does not want anyone to know that she can absorb magic. Jen asks her father to help her find the person who killed Gao. She says she has to kill the villain herself, and she wants to avenge her bodyguard. Co asks if she also wants to be killed. Jen falls to the ground. The emperor tells her that she does not need to look for the person who killed Gao because he is right in front of her. Co explains as he walks away that the man had done many terrible things and had to be killed. Previously, he had not been able to punish him because of the large number of guests. Jen asks His Highness why he abandoned her, since she is his favorite daughter. Co orders the maids to change Jen into a maid's costume and give her clothes to the little trash. The princess does not understand why her father has fallen out of love with her. The emperor takes C into his arms. The girl wonders if he thinks her life is too long. The other princesses know she is a little maid, but here she dares to wear Princess Jen's clothes. C is afraid that she will be torn apart. When C changed, His Highness went to the banquet with her in his arms. Everyone thinks it's Princess Jen who is so much talked about. C sits down on the throne, and the princess feels that many people are looking at her, which makes her nervous. Jen comes to the banquet dressed as a maid, and the emperor asks who allowed her to sit next to him. He orders the girl to clean up and uses magic to lift her out of her chair. C finds this a bit cruel, and Jen falls straight to the ground. The emperor tells C that this is a good place for her to sit, calling the girl his Princess C. The audience is surprised that it was not Jen who came to the reception with the emperor, but the princess who lived in the room with the firewood. And Jen hated C even more. She thinks she still has a chance and wants to kill the girl. Seo asks the girl if she is hungry and suggests that she eat as soon as possible. The princess doesn't understand why he has been completely indifferent to her all these 3 years, and now he is behaving like this. Seo asks his daughter what she thinks. The girl says that she thinks that her father, the emperor, is tired, so he doesn't have to feed her personally because he can find a servant to help the little girl. The emperor says that this is reasonable. They order Jen to feed Princess C. At this point, everyone immediately notices the little girl. Jen asks the emperor how he can do this to her, make her work as a servant. C tells her to hurry up and asks if she won't obey the order. The girl obeys and asks C what she would like to eat. The ruler of the Gaga Empire, Nakang, is also present at this banquet, and his goal is to kill his favorite princess Zio. He believes that the emperor is only hiding behind his maid C to protect Jen. 3 days ago, Emperor Nakang had a conversation with his servant. 3 years ago, it was discovered that one of the 4 princesses of the Lolo Empire had the ability to summon magic beasts. Now there are only 3 ancient magic beasts left in the world, and they have all been defeated and are in their imperial palace of Gaga. At Shio's command, the girl can easily summon the most brutal magic beast, and at the same time destroy the Gaga Empire with a single word. Nakang asks how such a small girl can have such destructive power. The subject says that he does not embellish anything, and therefore, for the safety of the empire, he should send people to find the girl in the Lolo Empire as soon as possible and kill her so that they do not have to worry. Nakang asks how to recognize the girl. The priest says that the girl is very important to the Lolo Empire. Seo raises her like a treasure. Therefore, she is Zio's favorite daughter and must be killed. At the festival, Shio notices Nakang. He orders Jen to leave. But the girl cries and says she doesn't want to go because there are so many important people here today, and if she leaves now, she won't be able to see them later. Seo tells her daughter to go. Jen says he does not really love her, but the emperor orders him to leave immediately, saying that he will not repeat himself twice. And Jen leaves the hall. The audience gossips about the princess' low position. Suddenly, C tells her father that she is not feeling well and wants to rest. C wants to use magic, but the girl stops him. She thinks that he has lost his mind, that he wants to kill people at such an important event. She thinks he is too cruel, and no one dares to tell him that he cannot kill people. But what can she do? Besides, it would be better for C to leave than to be the subject of a discussion. Nakang thinks that C has killed many people and no one has ever dared to stop him. He thinks that this girl is very brave. He thinks that if the opportunity arises, he should kill her too, otherwise she will be his right hand when she grows up. Seo orders his servant Jui to take the princess to rest. The boy takes the girl in his arms and says he will escort her to her room. Nakang tells Seo that they haven't seen each other for a long time and offers him a drink. The emperor looks at his daughter and accepts. On their way out, the girl asks the guard if she can ask him a question. Jui says that she certainly can. The girl asks if her father loves her. Suddenly, Jui senses a strange aura coming from the forest. Now he thinks that His Highness was not worried for nothing, but this time Nakang's target was actually the princesses. The guard hides behind the princess and says that of course her father loves her. He realizes that he must deal with these murderers as soon as possible and prevent them from harming the princess. He uses magic and tells whoever is hiding to come out. The boy uses his crows against them, but they kill them. Now Jui realizes that these killers are not so easy. He tells the princess not to move until her subject kills some bugs. She goes to the forest. C is worried that he will be all right. At this moment, Zhen appears, pushes C to the ground, and says that she has humiliated her today, and now she wants to kill her. Meanwhile, in Lolo's realm, 100 meters underground, the following events take place. C's daughter Mei, who is 3 years old like C, stands blindfolded and watched by a maid. The maid asks the princess what she sees. The princess sees the emperor's father and a group of people eating lunch. She also sees Princess Zhen beating Princess C. The girl says that their lives are really interesting. Unlike hers, even though she was adopted by her father, the emperor, she can only stay here underground and cannot go anywhere. The maid tells the princess that she is too young to use magic and that excessive use of magic could harm her. His Highness said that at her age, the use of magic should not exceed 10 minutes in a month, and she has been watching for more than 10 minutes. The girl demands that the princess stop it immediately. But the girl is worried that C and Zhen are in danger. She says that an evil man wants to kill them. Meanwhile, Zhen has killed many of the soldiers who tried to hurt the princess. The warriors on the other side realize that the boy is weaker and that they must use all their strength for the last blow. So they combine their forces into one great dragon. Zhuan says that their dragon is nothing compared to his greatness. The boy orders his crows to tear the thieves apart. The birds attack the soldiers. Meanwhile, Zhen and C continue to argue. Zhen says that the girl has taken away her father, the emperor, and that he is only her father, calling her a wretched servant who has put her in a terrible position. Zhen is serious about killing the princess. A very beaten C wants someone to save her. She is only 3 years old and lacks the strength to push the older girl away. Suddenly, a blade appears from the ground and pierces Zhen's back. The blade passed through and almost hit C. But with the girl's strength, this magic could not affect her. The dragon Xiao appears and begins to act quickly so that no one will notice C's power. He freezes the blade and it breaks. Zhen asks C what she did to her and why she is suddenly so cold. Zhen falls and bleeds green. Her last words are about being saved and not wanting to die. C asks Zhen what has happened to her. Suddenly C appears and the princess asks if he has come to rescue her. The girl asks him to take care of Princess Zhen as soon as possible because she is seriously injured. The emperor says that there is no need and that Zhen is already dead. The father takes C in his arms and at this moment Zhen runs up to them. The boy gets down on his knees and says that he has failed the emperor and that the princess is safe because of his carelessness. He thinks he deserves to die. Xiao throws the princess into his arms and says it doesn't matter now. He orders him to take back the garbage and make sure she doesn't starve. He also orders them to report that an assassin has entered the palace, and to tell everyone that Princess C was seriously injured and fainted, and that Princess Zhen died suddenly. The news will soon reach the Gaga Empire. Before leaving for home, Nakong expresses his condolences to Xiao. He says that no one expected such grief in their land. He has lost his beloved daughter, and Nakong says that the grief in his heart seems vague. Xiao says that is true. Emperor Gaga says that in that case, he should leave. Xiao agrees. Nakong thinks that Xiao's expression is too arrogant and indifferent. The emperor thinks it is an honor for him to visit this place. He cannot bear this expression on his face. He thinks that the emperor must feel terrible about losing Zhen. But today, Nakong is in a good mood, so he forgives the emperor this time. After all, Nakong believes that he will meet her again soon, and all he has to do is wait. When the delegation leaves, Luo asks the emperor if he really wants to let them go. Xiao tells him that he has killed the princess of his country and asks how he can think that he will let him go. Xiao says that Nakong has killed one of his princesses and that he will cut up all his princes and bury them next to Princess Zhen. Shirley and C lie beaten in bed. The princess wakes up to find the emperor at her side. Xiao tries to put the girl to sleep with a spell, but he forgets that magic does not work on the princess. The girl asks if he came to see her. Xiao says that is not the case. C thinks it is very bad that Zhen is dead. She thinks the Emperor definitely hates her now, and she wonders how she can win his favor. If he really cared about her, she would not be living in this cramped room. Charlie, who is lying next to her, coughs, and the girl asks what is wrong. The woman says that a princess should take good care of herself. Shirley tells His Highness that Princess C has never done anything wrong and asks if he could take her back to her quarters to be treated as before. C cries and says that Shirley cannot die. The girl asks her father if he can save Shirley because she has many serious injuries and Gao beat her very badly today. The girl says that she was fine during the day, but now she is coughing up blood and C asks her father to save her. C looks at her with an indifferent gaze. The princess continues to beg, asking if he can use magic to heal the maid. The man asks if she is asking him to help the maid, and C just begs for it. C pushes the princess away, saying that this is unacceptable and that the emperor cannot use his magic to heal a servant. The girl falls to the ground. She is in great pain but tries to be strong. Shirley and Seo ask if she is all right. The girl thinks, how can this be? She only asked him and the stinking emperor just pushed her. But she must not show her displeasure. The girl begs the emperor again to save Shirley. She believes that she should not be afraid and that only he can save the maid. Even if he pushes her away again, she will just keep begging. Now her pride means nothing. Shirley's life is all that matters. The girl finds the strength to smile, but she doesn't give in. She thinks this kindness will melt the ice of his heart. Shirley tells the princess that people like her are not worthy of being treated by His Highness, thus putting the emperor in a difficult position. Shirley coughs up blood again and asks the princess to take care of herself after she dies. C begins to cry, and she does not really want Shirley to die. She kneels down and continues to beg her father for help. Shio tells the princess to be quiet and tells her that he will not save the maid. However, he can find someone who will. He calls the sleeping Luo to him and tells him to wake up. The man asks His Highness what event has caused him to call this servant so late. Seo says that it is nothing serious and that he called him to save the maid. Luo asks how this is possible since he is a respected scholar and how he can treat a maid. C takes his hand and tells him that the little girl is asking for help. She says that if he is so important, he cannot let anyone die. Luo agrees to heal Shirley, but the maid tells him to stop because people like her are not worthy. C tells her to shut up. She doesn't want Shirley to say that. The girl says that every human life is precious and there is no one more worthy than her. C explains that she is the most important person to her, and she doesn't want her to say that she doesn't deserve anything. C tells Shirley to calm down, that Grandpa will heal her, and if she has nothing to give back, she can just keep taking care of her. The princess tells her not to worry and that she will find a way to repay her grandfather. Luo realizes that this is the girl who was chosen that day. Her attitude, temperament, and charm are truly fascinating. As expected, she is really different from those spoiled princesses. Luo has healed Shirley and strengthened her body at the same time, but in the future, strong physical attacks may be very harmful to her. C is very grateful to her grandfather. The emperor leaves without saying a word. Luo follows him and tells His Highness that Princess C is really very nice. Having lived so long, his old subject has seen many princesses, but Princess C is very different. The emperor walks away in silence, and the scholar asks why he is silent. Seo says that he also helped save the maid and asks why C thanked him alone and said nothing to the emperor. She also said that this maid holds the most important place in her heart. He asks if this means that there is only room for one person in her heart and that the maid has already taken it. Luo realizes that His Highness is angry and that they need to change the subject urgently. Otherwise he will go mad, which is even more terrible. Grandfather says it has been 3 years since Princess C entered the palace, and since then she has had to save the prince from death. Luo suggests that perhaps they should get to know each other better first to establish a relationship. He hopes that eventually they will become closer. For Princess Zai's sacrifice to be voluntary. The emperor asks Luo where he thinks is the best place for them to meet. The man thinks that the meeting between the two little strangers does not look arranged. For example, they could organize a picnic in the country, and an accident might happen there. And then suddenly a prince will appear and rescue the princess. The emperor says the sooner you start, the sooner you finish. A day later, in the morning, Shirley invites the princess to sit down because everything is ready and she can start eating. The planned picnic has begun. C wonders why the emperor suddenly ordered her to come here to eat. She already sleeps where the servants eat, so what is the difference? And why must she be in a city with many mosquitoes? Meanwhile, Luo tells the prince that he has something to learn. In 7 years, he will face a great disaster and may lose his life, and only a little girl can save him. Before that happens, however, they must meet. The boy asks if she will be in danger. Luo says that his father, the emperor, does not allow him to talk about it, but he thinks the boy should know. He says that in 7 years, when he is 11, a terrible event will happen, and this girl will sacrifice herself to save his life. The prince realizes that, in other words, he is the reason for her death. During the picnic, a strong wind came up and blew all the food in different directions. It even began to hail. Shirley takes the princess in her arms and tells her that it is not safe to stay here and that they must leave as soon as possible. Suddenly, C notices the emperor's dragon in the sky, and she has a hunch that it was her father who caused the hail. What is he trying to accomplish? Does he want her to die in the hail? Luo tells the prince to act quickly before it is too dangerous to save Princess C. The man reminds her that she will want to repay him in the future and will willingly sacrifice herself. The boy says he won't do it, he doesn't want anyone to die in his place. Seeing the whole situation, Shio decides to take other measures. Shio is caught in the wind and calls Shirley for help. The emperor catches the girl and tells her to stay still as he will introduce her to someone to treat well. C asks her father whom he wants her to meet. Shio introduces his son, Prince Jiang of the Lolo Empire, to the girl. He says that they should get to know each other. Now everyone sees the prince everyone is talking about, Jen. She thinks he is incredibly cute. Luo says the two of them should talk here and get to know each other better, and their old subject must go and follow the emperor. It seems to see that Prince Jiang does not look happy. The atmosphere has become too tense, and she decides that she must say something. Even though she doesn't understand why the emperor wants to introduce her to this little prince, it seems like a good idea to make friends with him. Jian pushes the girl and tells her to go away, because she has no right to get too close to him. The girl falls to the ground. The prince is a little panicked, but C says she is fine and he doesn't need to worry about the little girl. She thinks that the emperor likes to push people around and that his son is just like him. She realizes that she has to put up with it because this boy is the only prince in the empire. His title is very high, and even though she wants to hit him now, she must restrain herself. Jin says that even though the girl was adopted, she is still a commoner. He asks if she thinks she has the right to stand next to the Lord. He tells C that he does not want to meet her. He pushes her again. The boy goes away, and the princess thinks that this little prince is so cruel. John was born very weak and ill. His father, the king, used magic to keep him alive. He could have died as soon as he was born. Shio could not let his son die. The scholar Luo predicted his fate many times. Even if his father took care of him by prolonging his life with magic, he would not live more than 11 years. It is said that when he turns 11, a disaster will strike the Lolo Empire and he will die. 3 years ago, the scholar Luo said that the girl chosen on that day would save his life. But today he learned that she would have to sacrifice herself. The prince does not want to be attached to this girl, nor does he want anyone to sacrifice themselves for him. C catches up with him and tells him he can't be so cruel. Yes, he is a prince, but if he is a prince, how can he insult and humiliate others? The princess throws the boy to the ground. She tells him that he thinks her a lowly girl and asks him how much more grateful he is than she is. She asks him if he really thinks she could have chosen who she was born as. Just because he was born to a queen, does he think he can belittle others? C says that if you compare them, he is just lucky. She hits Juan in the face. The boy had never been spoken to like this before, but he found some meaning in the words. He said, "If you really compare them, he's the better one." Suddenly, the emperor appeared and asked what they were doing. First, he asked his son if he was well. The boy says he is well. The father heals his son and asks him if he is really well. The emperor did not expect the prince to be struck by a girl smaller than himself. C sees that this legendary ruthless emperor has a sweet side. She doesn't know why, but watching the father and son, the girl suddenly remembers her parents from the 21st century. She doesn't even know how they are. 3 years have passed since she disappeared, and she wonders if they are in trouble and if they miss her. She also wonders what happened to her beloved Zio. She doesn't know what happened to him after the accident. In fact, she is very sad and tears flow from C's eyes. Shio touches the head of the princess. He says that she has beaten his son so fearlessly and asks if she has just realized that she is afraid. The princess thinks she is in a bad way. She has just struck the only prince in the Lolo Empire. The emperor doesn't like her very much anyway, so what now? Will he try to kill her? A girl tells her father that her stomach hurts. She hopes that Sio will not punish her for pretending to be ill. The emperor says that she has just beaten his son and now she is suddenly ill. C falls to the ground and says that she is really in great pain, and she feels so warm inside as if something will come out of her. The princess begs the emperor to help her. Sio asks her if her stomach really hurts. He thinks she is not faking, and the performance seems real to him. The girl says that she is not lying and that she really is in pain. Juan noticed that her stomach was suddenly distended. He assumes she is pregnant. Sio tries to use magic to understand what happened to the girl, but he cannot use magic to find out what is wrong with her body. Moreover, after absorbing the magic, her belly has grown even larger. C's stomach makes a sound. She hopes it is not a baby because she is only 3 years old, and how could she have gotten pregnant? Besides, even if it could be related to a past life, it can't be because she and her boyfriend have never even kissed. Everyone thinks that this girl looks thin and weak, but there is very powerful magic in her body, and it is really incredible. Suddenly, a little panda appears out of this magic. Juan asks his father to look at it. This girl has given birth to a panda. The boy tries to touch the animal, but it hisses at him. The prince becomes frightened and says that the animal is as cruel as the girl. Shio says that no one must know about this, and he did not expect the princess to have her own magic. The emperor orders all the princess's belongings to be taken away and sent to the prince's palace. Starting tomorrow, C will study magic with him. He sees that this girl has incredible magical potential. So instead of protecting her all these 10 years, they will teach her how to protect herself. The servant takes the girl in his arms. The newborn panda clings to his clothes. The boy thinks it is incredible to have a magic animal at this age. When C woke up, she saw Shirley standing in front of her. The maid tells her to hurry up and take her medicine. The girl asks what is wrong with her. She feels dizzy, her eyes are blurry, and her whole body is tired. She asks if she has some terrible disease. The princess remembers that in the morning her belly swelled up and became very large, and then something came out of it. Shirley reassures the girl that she shouldn't worry, that everything is all right, and that her health is not in danger. Everyone thinks she fainted because she used too much magic. The maid says that besides that, it was not labor. Her bodyguard says it was a magical beast that appeared before time. The princess is only 3 years old. How can she have children? If this were true, she would not be able to marry. Shirley shows C the panda and says it is her magic animal. C's bodyguard tells Shirley that the magic animal is a crystallization of her own magic that has taken shape. Each magician's magic is unique, and most magical creatures are animals. For example, Jui's magic beast is a crow, and her emperor's is a giant dragon. Princess Jen's bodyguard's magic beast was a giant snake. Once magic takes its form, it begins to grow along with the wizard's ability. When Zai's beast is strong enough, it will be able to protect its master. The appearance of the magic beast was very painful for the princess, but she would like to have many magic beasts. C wondered if the Emperor had suffered such pain when he had the magic beast. It is hard to imagine his face at that moment. The princess is about to pick up the panda, but Shirley stops her. She tells the girl to take her medicine first before picking up her cute pet. For some reason, the maid never called the animal a panda, and C wonders why. Shirley urges the princess to take the medicine because the bodyguard Jui said she wouldn't get better if she didn't. The princess agrees to take the medicine. C thinks that Shirley's behavior is strange. Meanwhile, C watches the princess. Luo tells His Highness not to worry and that she will feel better immediately after taking the medicine. The soothsayer is not surprised that His Highness chose the princess's room because it is very easy to observe. The Emperor says that this useless child has a magic beast, almost died herself, and is simply a problem child. Luo says that even though the appearance of a magic beast is the basis of magic, Princess C has never been taught it. He asks how it can be considered useless. Luo had studied many phenomena, but he had never seen a magic beast appear at the age of 3. The prince has been studying magic for almost a year, but he still doesn't have a magic beast of his own. Luo thinks that Princess C is so amazing. The Emperor asks if he thinks she is a genius. He says that this girl is far from being one. Luo tells the Emperor that he is like a small child. He cannot even hide his own smile. It is obvious that he is proud of Princess C. It seems to the scholar that time passes so quickly because the Emperor was once a child who loved to laugh. He regrets that he has never laughed again since that incident. His Highness is like a demon. He kills all who attempt to approach him. Even the prince's mother, Queen Cher, died by his hand. However, since His Highness has had children, he has become less cruel. Princess C has very strong magic, and anyone who has met Her Highness can tell you that she is charming. The following events will take place the next day at the prince's palace. Classes are held, and it turns out that C is not the only newcomer today. But Prince Jiang and Princess May began their training a year ago. But even now, C can feel a bit of their magic. The girl thinks Princess May is special. Because of the new students, the teacher asks them to introduce themselves first. This is her talented magic teacher Aiko. His family is known throughout the Lolo Empire as the best teachers of magic for generations. For hundreds of years, they have taught many prominent emperors. But that is not the point now, for his time has finally come. It is humiliating for him that he began teaching a prince at the very beginning of his career, and now he is being asked to teach these commoners. C comes to class with a panda, and Aiko says that pets are not allowed in the classroom, and asks if she didn't know that. And his snake swallows the princess's panda. C starts to get nervous and cries as he gets out of his seat. The princess tells the teacher that it is a magical beast, not a pet. And even if it were a pet, how could this man kill it so easily? Aiko just laughs at her, asks her how old she is, 3 or 4, and says that she is not old enough yet. He thinks she was born a commoner and will remain so. He thinks she lies so brazenly to his face that he finds it laughable. The Emperor decided to hire a new tutor. This man must teach her as a mid-level magician for 1 year, or he will not pay her salary for 10 years. As Seo walks down the hall with the new teacher, he hears fans speaking rudely to the princess from the classroom door. He says that if they do not listen to him and bring pets again, he will punish them. The teacher says that he teaches the prince and is close to His Highness, so he will not be punished even if he beats her. The new teacher invites Shio to come in and see what is going on. The Emperor asks him to take his time and wants to see what happens next. First, we have to look at the situation. What if it is just a misunderstanding? The prince defends Princess C. The boy says that as long as he is a prince, no one will harm his sister. Princess Fan was very frightened. Among the 4 princesses accepted by His Highness, she has no amazing abilities, but she is intelligent and beautiful. Princess May is as calm as ever. Her strong magic talent makes her that way. She says if they are ready, maybe they should start the lesson. The new teacher thinks that Aiko's family is rich and famous and wonders how they got such a descendant. Aiko lies on the ground with a wound from a magical attack and asks the prince how he could have done such a thing. What did these children do if they managed to wound Aiko? It seems impossible that they could hit such an adult with a magical attack. Shio wondered who had just wounded Aiko. C sees the emperor coming towards her and she thinks he is going to punish her. She wonders if Jiong will be severely punished for beating the teacher, even though he is a prince. After all, he helped her. Aiko says it was Princess C who hit him. He thinks that if he is His Highness's teacher, it would be better not to embarrass the prince in front of the emperor. In any case, the teacher does not like that the little prince did this to him, and now he has no choice but to blame the princess. Shio asks the princess if she hit Ika. He asks her how she could do that since he knows that Ika's teacher teaches his offspring. C doesn't know what to say. The prince is silent. Does he really want her to be the guilty one? C says she hit the teacher. The emperor asks why she did it. The girl says she did it because the teacher ate her magic beast. She wants the emperor to find out what happened and thinks it was not her fault. Seo asks if she thinks she is strong enough to hurt the teacher so badly. The princess doesn't want him to find out the truth because she really doesn't know how she could be so strong. She just wants to let it go and not think about it. The emperor thinks he may need another crown prince, although he might not be weak-willed anymore one day. He thinks that Jin cannot be emperor if he is not ready to take responsibility for his actions. Shio says that since she said she was the one who hit Ik, he demands that she hit him again. The teacher asks His Highness what he is talking about. Suddenly, Jin begs him not to punish the princess, but he confesses that he did it. Seo says that he has been practicing for a year, but he hasn't gotten any better, so how could he hit his teacher? He does not believe Jiong and orders Zai to show him how she hit the teacher or he will punish her. The girl decides that she must do something now. That fool ate her panda and there is no excuse for that, so she must hit him as hard as she can. She runs up to Aiko and begins to hit him. The teacher doesn't understand how this little girl can hit so hard, and he begins to believe that she really has awakened her magical powers. He is in great pain and wants the rootless trash to die. Aiko has summoned his snake again, but Jion grabbed it and said that it had struck him and that it should not hurt others. Suddenly, the snake began to grow larger. It wrapped around the prince and he told C to run. The girl calls out to the emperor to save the prince. In fact, she is not afraid of magical attacks, but no one must know. Shio orders Aiko to let the boy go and asks how he dared to do such a thing in front of him. The emperor freezes the snake. Shio thinks that if she learns something like this, no one will be able to scare her and Shirley anymore. The snake breaks into pieces when the cold hits it. C runs up to Jin and asks if he is all right. The boy says he is fine. Even though it hurts, you have to keep going. He still looked so cool when he saved them. The girl sees that the prince's face has suddenly turned pale. Was he hurt when he saved her? After all, he was only 4 years old, and he was fighting an adult magician, so how could he not have been hurt? Aiko bows to His Highness and begs for mercy. He may have just hurt the Lord, but his family is very influential, so he hopes His Highness will not punish him. Asi wants this terrible man to go to jail as soon as possible. The emperor tells him that since he has just insulted the prince, he can no longer be his tutor, and he will not be able to take the position again. He throws Aiko out of the window. Asi doesn't understand why he didn't throw him out of the prison. Is his family so powerful that the emperor should treat them so leniently? Meanwhile, Aiko finds himself on the street with broken glass mixed with his blood, and the man wants Shio to regret everything he has done to him. The new teacher tells His Highness that he is actually very kind. In fact, Aiho betrayed them long ago. The jewel around his neck must belong to the Kaka Empire. I wonder if he is the only traitor or if his whole family is. Fortunately, the first option will cause them less trouble than the second. Jen starts coughing blood. Everyone starts to worry about him. A small rabbit appears beside the boy. Seo takes his son and the animal in his arms and tells him that he is well. The little rabbit seems to be the prince's magic animal, but it is too weak and seems unable to protect His Highness in the future. It looks like His Highness is worried about the prince again. After a while, C asks Shirley if His Highness is seriously injured as he seems to be coughing constantly. The maid tells her that His Highness is in poor health and has been ill since childhood, so she should not take it to heart. She also says that from now on the princess should treat him well and not beat him anymore. C thinks that Shirley is very stupid and looks like she is telling a wild animal not to hurt the weak. Shirley and C arrive at the prince's room. There he is treated by the court physician Rocky in the presence of the emperor. C goes to John's bedside and asks His Highness if he is well. The boy says through a cough that he is well. He is still coughing up blood. Co wipes his son's mouth and tells C it's okay, but if she's scared, she can go back to her room. He tells his son not to worry because no matter how many teeth he loses, his father will help him recover with magic. C still cannot believe that the emperor is so concerned about the prince. Pale complexion, weakness, coughing up blood, and loss of teeth. These symptoms seem familiar to C. She looks at the prince carefully. Rocky looks as if she has something to say. He finds the girl so unreasonable and wonders why His Highness did not execute her immediately. C calmly says that the little girl has something to say and hopes that her grandfather will let her speak. Rocky says very unhappily that if she has something to say, she can say it. But she should do it soon because she is interfering with his treatment of the prince, otherwise it will affect his illness. She should worry more about her own little life. The girl asks if she can try to cure the prince. If she is right, the little prince must have a blood disease. After all, she is only 3 years old, and she is afraid that no one will believe her, but at least they will give her a chance to try to help. The doctor asks where this stupid child came from and how she dared to say such stupid things. He tells His Highness that his subject asks him to execute this girl who does not know the rules, otherwise he will refuse to treat the prince. Shio tells him not to be so rude. He approaches C and says that he is Elder Roki, known throughout the world for his healing magic. The emperor takes the girl in his arms and says that he has been trying to cure the prince for 3 years. The girl says that she knows that the grandfather who heals the prince is very wise. But the little girl thought that if magic could not cure the prince for 3 years, then perhaps the prince's illness had nothing to do with magic. Rocky says that this is utter nonsense, and that there is nothing in the world that cannot be cured by magic. In addition to magic, he also used ancient medicine to treat the prince. He does not understand where this girl came from and how she dared to doubt his healing abilities. It is too much for him. The girl says she knows magic is powerful and useful, but she has read in a history book that people have only been able to use magic for 10,000 years. And before healing magic, there were many ways to cure human diseases, like medicine, therapy, and even psychology. So she thought maybe the prince didn't need magic to heal him. C asks Grandfather Rocky what he thinks about this. The doctor finds it strange that these words were spoken by a 3-year-old child. When he was 3, all he could do was play and get dirty. The emperor thinks that these history books are too boring and that he needs patience to read them. This child has real talent. How could he memorize them at his age? He finds C more and more interesting. He says that in this case she can try. However, if the prince's health doesn't improve within a month, she shouldn't expect him to be spared. Rocky is shocked at this decision. He kneels down and tells His Highness that the prince's condition is no joke. The doctor asks how he can let a child do this. Although she has said something reasonable, she has no experience in this area. Suddenly, the prince gets up and tells her that he believes her and that she will cure him. The girl bows, but tells the prince that it is too late and asks if she can come back tomorrow and begin the treatment. Gian agrees. Now Rocky can't do anything about the situation. Still, he begins to trust C a little. Shirley asks the princess if she understands what she is saying. She is only 3 years old and wants to cure the prince's illness. The maid packs her things and says they must go. Otherwise, His Highness will kill the girl. Shirley tells her to stay calm. She will get her out of the palace safely, even if she has to sacrifice her life. C tells the woman to stay calm. She says that she can cure the principals and asks if she has forgotten that she raised her to be a wise princess. The girl started talking at 4 months, walking at 6 months, and reading books when she was only 1 year old. Shirley says she knows the princess is clever, but it is a prince. Even Dr. Rocky hasn't been able to cure him for 3 years, and she's only read a few books, so how is that possible? C says that they have gone through a lot in these 3 years. And now, as long as she cures the prince, they will have a normal life. The girl says she won't give up and asks Shirley if she trusts her. C does not want to be bullied and does what others tell her to do. She is tired of those days. Now she just wants to live a happy and peaceful life without being bullied. The girl asks Shirley if she disagrees. Luo and Seo watch her again. The seer asks if he will kill Princess C if the prince's health does not improve in a month. The emperor says he will not do it. Does His Highness realize that he loves this child? What father in the world doesn't feel that way about his child? Besides, Princess C is so sweet, who wouldn't like her? C says that she will sacrifice her life for the prince in 7 years, so she won't die now. Duo says that what he is saying makes sense. But will His Highness really be willing to sacrifice this child to save the prince? The emperor says that this little trash said she had read many books and knew many historical facts. Seo asks why he does not know this. And what else does he not know? Luo says that he watched her every night for 3 years, and she has known about it for a long time. To avoid being watched, the girl decided to come to Luo every morning. She didn't ask for anything more than a quiet reading of a book. Seo asked her if she had read his whole collection of books. Luo says that she had, and tells him that she began to speak when she was 4 months old. The emperor asks why he did not know this. In fact, one day, 3 years ago, Luo could no longer stand it and secretly decided to visit her, and she already understood everything. That's when the old scientist realized that the princess could speak at the age of 4 months. Since then, she began to ask to read and was eager to learn new things. As the girl grew older, she learned to walk and could come to him to read. In spite of her age, she has a good memory and an amazing reading speed. If it takes him half a month to read a book, it takes her only a day. Seo says that this little trash can be surprising. As a father, he never knew his daughter was so smart. Meanwhile, in the palace of the Gaga Empire, Nakdong kicks his son in the chest. He says that Princess C and Prince Jiang of the Lolo Empire, who are only 3-4 years old, already have magic beasts, and he is 7 years old and still does not have them. The emperor asks how he could have such a son. Prince Mincy says that he is useless and has disappointed his father. Nakdong summoned his magic beast and ordered his son to get out of his sight. And the boy obeyed him, and he went away. The emperor says that his son is a miserable piece of trash. He smashes dishes. At first he only killed his adopted daughter Xiao, and he has killed his 3 favorite sons. Nakong wants to take revenge on him. He can't wait for Emperor Lolo's children to die. Mincy was originally a simple student, but an accident brought him into this magical world. When he was born, his body could not withstand the powerful magic. His mother died after going through heavy labor. When he woke up, he was very frightened. There were dead bodies on the floor. Nakong saw this powerful magic in his son's body and believed that he could use it to destroy other countries and unite the continent. When Mincy saw his father for the first time, he thought he would kill him, but when he saw him, the man's eyes became happy. It was as if those corpses were not on the ground. Although this man had great hopes for the boy, he did not use magic to save the world. He became intolerant and cruel to him. The father beat his son with a whip and said that he was really useless because he could not learn to use magic, and it was no use to educate him for so many years. In fact, he had learned all about magic beasts when he was 3 years old, but no one should know about it. No one knows that his magical ability is his adult form. Mincy's father is very abusive, and he is too weak to stand up to him now. He thinks it is better to hide rather than let him know his true strength. However, he is very interested in Princess C and Prince Jiang. They are very small, but they already have magic beasts, so he is interested in them and sets out to find them. He arrives in the realm of Lolo. It was a third weak country controlled by other nations. Until 18 years ago, Zio, who was only 17 years old, defeated all his opponents and became emperor. Within a few years, he turned the Lolo Empire into a strong country compared to the Gaga Empire. When Mingzi crossed the protective barrier of the land, Zio heard it immediately. He shouted for 1,000 miles to anyone who dared to break through his barrier to come and meet him. The boy realized that he had been noticed. He flies to the emperor, who asks him if he wants to die, and the boy says no. Zio says that if he wants to die, he will let him do so comfortably. In all these years, he is the first person who has dared to break into his palace. He calls his dragon, and the boy realizes that this magic is very powerful. He realizes that if he fights it, he has no chance of winning, and he decides that he must run away. And he disappears from Zio's sight. The emperor says that this child is interesting, and Mincy coughs up blood, and he did not expect the emperor to be so strong. He thinks that his father is a stupid man who wants to kill him. He even sounds stupid. He has lost too much energy fighting him. Now he won't be able to fly for a while, and he has to leave as soon as possible. At the same time, in another part of the palace, C is looking for a toilet, and she is very annoyed that the prince's palace is so big, but there is not a single toilet in it. Now she is very sorry that she cannot use magic. Shirley tells him that there is no toilet in the prince's palace. It turns out that no one needs to go there. Everyone in the prince's palace knows how to use magic, and they simply use it to cleanse their bodies when needed. The girl asks if even John doesn't need to do this since he's not so good at magic. The maid tells her that the prince is the same age as Princess Fan and that they began studying magic a year ago. The first thing they learned was body cleansing, and they have been doing it for a long time. But in Princess Fan's palace, there are two maids who do not know magic, so there must be a toilet in her palace. C says that her palace is not far from here, but she is not very close to it, and she is ashamed to go there. She decides that it would be better to go to her old room. Fortunately, there are toilets in this magical world. Otherwise, how could a person like her, a person from the 21st century, live here? Suddenly, in the middle of the night, a strange sound comes from upstairs. The ceiling collapsed and Minzy fell out. He sees that he is falling on the girl, but protects her with a barrier. Seeing that he also has magic, C asks who he is and what he is doing here. She remembers that Jin has no brothers. The princess sees that the toilet is completely broken, and there is only one other toilet in Princess Fan's room. C is very worried about this loss, and the boy wonders what is wrong with this girl because she almost died but is worried about the toilet. He is annoyed and decides that she should be taken away from here first because it is not safe. Minzy's leg is grabbed by a magic paw. The boy is unaware that the emperor also uses magic. He must get rid of the dragon's paw or it will bring him here. The girl also noticed the dragon's paw and wondered why it clung to him. She thinks that the boy might be an evil man whom the emperor wants to kill. Mincy sees that this girl is an ordinary child without magic. He asks why she is still here and tells her to leave before he kills her. He has heard that Seo kills women and cannot allow him to meet her. But C doesn't go, and the boy asks if she really wants to die. The girl thinks his weak magic is no threat to her and says she will leave now. Mincy tells her to leave and to remember not to tell anyone about what happened tonight or he will kill her. The princess tells him not to be so angry and that he scared her. She falls as if by accident and touches the magic paw on his leg. The magic disappears. The girl continues to pretend, saying she is in great pain. She absorbed her father's magic, but she couldn't handle his magic. So he really didn't mean to hurt her, and he's not a bad guy. Minzy is surprised that the girl doesn't know the body cleansing magic, but she was able to absorb the dragon's paw. C asks him to help her. She says she is in great pain after the fall. The boy gives her his hand to help her up. Suddenly someone calls for Princess C. Juan and Shirley search for the princess. The maid is very worried. and the boy tells her not to worry, that they will look for her better. C watches them and sees that her foolish Shirley has been captured by a handsome man. The girl calls to them and says she is here. The woman immediately runs to the princess and asks where she has been. When she awoke, she did not see her and was very frightened. The little girl assures Shirley that she is all right. She explains that she suddenly had to go to the bathroom, and the girl saw that she was asleep and did not wake her. Shirley says that she shouldn't do that and that next time she should just say if she wants to go somewhere. The princess agrees that from now on she will always tell her when she wants to do something. This palace is surrounded by a protective barrier, so Princess C is in no danger. Jui doesn't know why the maids were so worried, but it's a good thing the princess was found. He suddenly realizes that something is wrong. He sees someone hiding around the corner. C is afraid. It would be very bad if they found the boy. Aiko appears before them and tells them not to worry. Jui asks what he is doing here so late. C doesn't understand where the boy has gone. The man explains that he had to resign as the prince's tutor, so he feels a little awkward. He was just out for a walk, but he accidentally ruined Jui's date with the lady. Shirley tries to explain that this is not a date. Jui says that what Aiko's teacher said doesn't seem to be true. He blows up the toilet next to the teacher. C is now shocked that it will probably never be repaired. Aiko is very upset by this situation. He thinks he is the prince's teacher anyway, and Jui is just a protector, so how dare he suspect him? Lolo's empire is worth nothing to him anymore. Suddenly, the emperor appears and asks what is going on and why it is so loud. C thinks that his highness has come here because of the boy. They don't know where he is hiding now. Jui's attack was so strong, and did it hurt him? Seo takes the princess in his arms and asks her to tell him what happened, why she came so late, and why she was crying. The emperor told Luo that an unknown young man had entered the palace, so he had deliberately left a mark on his body. He came here following that mark, but it suddenly disappeared. Coincidentally, Princess C appeared where the magic disappeared. Luo guessed that she absorbed the magic from the mark to save him. The princess tells her father that nothing happened here. She just went for a walk and got sand in her eyes. She thinks she was going to the toilet and was crying because it exploded, but how can she tell someone like him? The emperor sees that she has been crying, but he does not want to tell the truth and asks her if she is lying to him. He also suspects that she wants to protect the young man and that she might have let him go. C tries to be nice, but he asks how she could lie to him. The princess thinks that maybe he won't ask about going to the bathroom, but he will ask about the boy. Shio feels bad that this girl dared to lie to him to protect the boy. He asks the others why they are here. They bow and say they are here by chance. The emperor throws C into Juyu's arms and tells her never to go out at night without his permission. C leaves and Luo tells him to wait. The princess thinks that she has made the emperor angry, which is bad, and wonders what she should do and whether she should calm him down. Luo asks his highness what is wrong with him and whether he suspects the princess of releasing the man. The emperor asks the old man why she dared to lie to him about a stranger. Luo says that he himself said that the young man was very handsome, and she was a girl, so perhaps she softened when she saw the handsome young man, because that is an easy thing to understand. The seer realizes that his tall one is angry, and it will be difficult to calm her down. Seo asks him not to say that his young man is handsome, for he is not as handsome as Jui. Luo makes another suggestion. Perhaps he forced Princess C because his highness said that the man was strong because he was able to break through the protective barrier. He says that the boy must have threatened her, for the princess is only a 3-year-old girl and she could not overcome him. Shio says that if the man really threatened his daughter, he should die. The emperor orders the new teacher to tell him that he has 6 months to turn Princess C into an average magician. And if he fails, Seo will have his salary reduced for 20 years. Luo then tells Jui that from now on he is not to follow the emperor, but to protect the princess. He will later become her bodyguard. The following events take place in the prince's palace the next morning. The prince drinks his disgusting medicine, and C came to him. Rocky tells the prince that he has to eat his breakfast before he can talk to Princess C. The girl is afraid that the green, foul-smelling liquid might be edible. She takes the cup of soup away from the prince and tells him that he might die if he eats it. The doctor asks the princess what she means. The girl asks him not to be angry and explains that she said it by accident and just wanted to ask what it was because it was green and that's why it was so scary. The doctor thinks the princess thinks he might have given the prince poison. He takes away the girl's plate and tells her that if she does good and kind things without understanding, she will hurt others. Rocky explains that this is the blood of a young dragon's heart, which is very rare. The doctor gives him a spoonful of this medicine and says that Prince John's body is too weak to eat normal food, only drink. But even so, not to mention the nutritional value, if he just drinks it, his stomach will hurt so much that he won't be able to stand. Only this blood can nourish him all these years. He says that the prince's body can only digest it, asks if he understands, and feeds it to him with a spoon. C asks if this means that the prince cannot even eat apples. Rocky asks how she can suggest that the prince eat something that has no nutritional value. The princess asks why apples are so bad and what about other fruits. For example, dragon fruit, kiwi, banana, grapes, are they all so bad? The doctor says that the prince's body is too weak and asks how she can offer him such things and whether she thinks he can eat anything like she can. Now the girl understands why the prince is so seriously ill. That is why he is so grown up, even though he has never taken vitamin C. Without the protective magic and this medicine, he would have died long ago. She thinks she must get him to start eating fruit. Otherwise, even if he survives, the disease will still kill him. A servant comes to the princess and tells her that something terrible is happening. He asks her to go to her room and see for herself because Miss Shirley can't take it anymore. In the room, Shirley is held by Zai's mother, who yells at her to leave her alone, asking how a beggarly maid can stop her since her daughter is the favorite daughter of the emperor. The princess's mother and father take her valuables from her room. The father asks why they shouldn't, since the emperor has allowed their daughter to live here, which means that all these things belong to her. He says that they are only taking their daughter's belongings and asks if this is wrong. The woman beats Shirley and tells her that she is just a miserable servant and should be left alone. She asks her children why they are just standing there and tells them to take anything of value. For these are all their little sister's things and they belong to them also. They have only one chance to go to the palace this year. If they don't take a lot now, they won't have the chance again. The two older boys immediately go to help their mother. But the younger son says that they should not do this and that it is not good. Shirley is already crying and cannot believe what is happening and tells them to stop. She explains that the princess has only been living here for about 3 days and all the things in the room belong to Prince Jen. If they are doing this, it means they want to hurt the princess. But the man kicks the maid in the stomach and tells her to get out of here. He says she is completely stupid. His daughter lives in the palace, which means she will be his wife when she turns 18, and then he will be the prince's father-in-law. He thinks the maid is still okay after being hit so hard. He decides to wait for Zai's return and ask her to give the maid to her family. He wants to use her as a servant. The princess appears and tells everyone to stop. She is accompanied by Rocky and Jian. The mother is very happy to see her daughter and says that she has grown a lot in the 3 years without seeing her. She asks if the handsome boy is a prince. The woman gives a false smile and tells the prince that she is giving him her daughter, Ling, and that he should treat her well. C pushes her mother's hand away. He asks who this Ling is. The girl tells her parents that she doesn't know them and tells them to leave. Her mother asks her what she is talking about and raises her hand. Rocky and Jin look at the woman angrily. She takes her hand away in fear. She says that she and her daughter are only joking. She tells the girl that she is her daughter and she shouldn't be so arrogant with them. The princess tells the woman to be quiet, but she says she is not joking. The girl repeats that they are not her parents and she does not know them and orders them to leave. Since the emperor adopted the princesses, their parents have come here to visit them every year on September 1. C's parents had not visited her for 3 years, and now they suddenly came. It was unexpected that it happened like this. C's parents had not visited her for 3 years, and now they suddenly came. It was unexpected that it happened like this. Jiang thinks that the girl must be very upset and takes her hand to support her. He asks these people why they do not leave if Princess C says she does not know them. The girl's father kicks Shirley again. She tells him to stop talking nonsense. He raises his hand to C and asks her how she can treat her parents like this. How dare she send them away and say she doesn't know them? He says she has become too impertinent and must be punished. The princess asks if he wants to hit her, and Jin tells her to be careful. C clenches her fist tightly and decides she can't take it anymore. Because in this world, the more you tolerate, the more they hurt you, thinking you're afraid. Her magic gets out of control. She thinks that only fighting will scare them, and they won't decide to attack again. The father is afraid of his daughter's strength. He falls to the ground and asks what she will do to her father. He sees that his daughter has been in the palace for 3 years, but she has already learned magic. Suddenly, the emperor appears and asks who dared to make noise in his palace. He begins to work magic on the man, who cries out in pain. Shio asks who they are and why they are in his palace. Rocky asks His Highness why he has come here. The emperor says that this is his palace and asks where these people came from. The children are afraid of him, but they hope he will not kill them for taking some of their sister's things. But the things fall from their hands. Shio asks the princess why she cries. He asks the girl to tell him what is wrong. He just calms her down and tells her that it doesn't matter what's going on, and she should just remember that his princess shouldn't cry because someone is bullying her. The emperor says that she should just fight back. He thinks that she is so young, but she already has so much power, and he doesn't even know if it's good or bad. She hasn't learned to control her magic yet. If he had come later, she would not have been able to control it. He orders the guards to grab the 4 and beat them, but not to stop until he tells them to. Her father asks C to simply tell the emperor that they are her parents, but she says she should not treat them that way. The brothers ask their sister for help as the guards grab them, and Seo orders them to begin. The guards beat them with whips, but they continued to address C. The children cry out to their mother that they are in great pain. Rocky, meanwhile, heals Shirley from the beatings. Suddenly, their younger brother approaches the princess and says that he knows they are wicked, but asks if he can ask her to forgive them. C sees that this face is trying to be happy, and it is very similar to her face at that time. She felt very uncomfortable at that time and wanted to cry, but she controlled her tears and tried to smile. The boy begins to cry and beg his sister on his knees. She agrees and asks the third brother to stand up. She feels nothing for this family, and even if they died, she would not care. But she does care for her younger brother. At the time C came into this world and into her family, this woman was a nanny for another influential family. Although she spent her milk on the sons of the influential family, she did not give the girl a drop. When she was very hungry, her mother would only give her a small piece of dough. She said that this milk was for the sons of the masters and that she was not important enough to drink it. The mother thought that she only needed a little bit of dough so that she would not die of hunger. Meanwhile, the brothers abused the girl. The youngest brother thought that he should help her, so he asked his mother for some milk, and she asked him to wait, promising to bring some. After C was born, she had a hard time fighting for her life. She could not say anything, and she was hungry all day. When no one was home, her younger brother fed her milk. Sometimes the girl wanted to die, but for a small child death is something luxurious, and at that moment he appeared. She will never forget his smile that day. He promised her that he would not let her die of hunger, and he would try to bring her milk. If he hadn't come that day, the girl would have died. She will never forget this. So C asks her brother to calm down and promises to ask her father for forgiveness. The emperor asks if she is sure of this request, and the girl says that she is. Seo says that it is up to her. They tell the guards to stop, and the princess thanks her father. Jiang says that his father has pardoned them and now they must leave. Rocky thinks that the prince was too weak before and couldn't even raise his voice, so why is he like this now? He can almost see the aura of an emperor in him. He suspects it is all because of the princess. Her parents said they did not think they had such a shameless daughter. It was so difficult for them to get to the palace to visit her, and she allowed them to beat her. They say that she lost her conscience here. C tells her brother that they are all right now and that they should leave. The boy apologizes for upsetting his sister. He promises to persuade her not to come to the palace so that she will not be disturbed, and the girl thanks her brother. The mother kicks her son again and asks why they are still standing there, calling them idiots. She says that they have been seriously injured because of their sister and asks why they do not hurry to take these things and where she will get the money to take them to the doctor. The man says that her sister is so heartless and asks why they should be kind to her. He starts picking up the things from Zai's room again and says that they are fine. The parents are old, but they are still young and will marry often. He asks if they need the scars on their bodies and tells them to move. Shirley goes to stop them again. The princess tells her to stop. She has decided to give them all these things, but there will be no relationship between them after this. She will never accept them as parents again. The girl asks Jin how much all these things cost and promises to pay for them later. But the boy says she doesn't have to pay at all. Meanwhile, 100 meters underground, Princess Mei sees the whole situation. She was adopted after her birth, and no one has visited her for the past 3 years. She used to think she was very unhappy. But when she saw C, she realized that the princess was much worse off than she was. Mei was approached by a maid named Linma who told her that she was using magic and that she would hurt herself if she continued. The princess takes Linma's hands and tells her that this is what her father told her. But Mei has used magic many times and asks if the maid has ever seen her hurt by it. The girl says that if her eyes had not been closed by her father, she would have been able to see more, even the future. But Linma continues to insist. She tells the princess that if the emperor has ordered her not to use magic for too long, she must obey him. The girl says that the emperor has put her 100 meters underground and she has no one but her maid, so she asks if she can't see the outside world. Today is September 1st, the day when the princesses' families come to visit them, and Mei likes to look at them. Of all of them, Princess Fan inspires her the most. Her parents are very kind to her. Of course, her father does not love her very much, but he does not treat her badly. Suddenly, Mei sees a girl who looks very much like Jin. This is very surprising for the princess because Jin is believed to be dead. The girl asks one of the maids if she is one of the people protecting Princess Jin. The girl says that she is, and that she has been looking after her all these years at Madame's request. The girl says that she must have worked very hard to make the princess so arrogant, but in the end she died. The girl says that she has seen many different foolish servants, but she would not dare to accept a servant like herself who had killed her mistress. She tells the other maids to deal with her and to be careful. The women pull out the knife, and the unfortunate maid tells Miss that she cannot do it because she was only following Madame's orders, and if Jen had not died, she would not have had a chance. But one of the maids stabs her in the back and tells her to shut up, because what she is not supposed to say, she will never say, and asks if she does not know this rule. Mei is very frightened to see this, and Linma asks what she sees and if she is in danger. The girl tells the maid that she has seen a very terrible thing. A week later, in class, Jiang and C try to use magic to lift the water. Teacher John tells them to just rest. He asks the prince to think of his health and not to overexert himself. The boy says there is no need. Every day he drinks the medicine C prepares, and he is much better. He realizes that he must be strong, for if he is weak, he will not be able to protect others. The prince must be stronger than the emperor, so that no one will dare to offend him and see later, and he will violently punish anyone who dares to offend him. The children say they will not rest, for they must become stronger. John does not understand what is happening to these children. They are suddenly interested in magic and say they want to become stronger. He is a little frightened when he looks at them. It is very difficult to minister to them. Fan asks May why they are practicing magic so hard and what they have encountered recently. The princess says she doesn't know, but she suggests that they may have come across something interesting, so they decided to get stronger. May thought C's magic beast was dead, but it turns out that as long as the masters are alive, their beasts are alive. That panda is so cute, May thinks, and she wants a magic beast too. The princess gets up and Fan asks where she is going. She says she is going to practice magic. The girl doesn't understand why everyone else is so interested. May tells C and Jeong that she is going to practice with them. She is able to lift the water with ease. The teacher thinks that Princess May is so young, but her magic is incredible. The prince tells the teacher to be careful. But before he can say this, a stream of water pours down on him. May immediately begs him to forgive a blind person like her. Everyone begins to laugh at the situation. John dries himself with magic. What is he to do with these children? They are grateful, so he cannot hit or scold them. He sees that it is very difficult to make them intermediate-level magicians within 6 months. C says that this is such a power, and he doesn't have to worry about the rain when he has such a magical power. May asks if he is angry. The teacher says that he is not angry at all. The princess says she wants to have her own magic animal like C and asks if he can teach her. John thinks it's great that she wants to master a magic animal. Prince Jian and Princess Fan started learning magic a year ago, and now the prince has his own magic animal. Although Princess Fan doesn't have one, she knows how to make one, and Princess C had one before she started learning magic. He forgot that now only Princess May does not know how to get a magic animal. He asks C to tell him how she got her pet. The princess asks if magic animals are not born by themselves. The girl says that the first time she gave birth to it, it hurt, but then it was eaten by an evil teacher's snake. She thought the animal was gone, but suddenly she gave birth to it again. The second time it was not as painful as the first. The girl asks if it is not true that magical beings are not born. The teacher corrects the girl. He tells the princesses that they do not give birth to a magical animal. They bring it out after they have practiced. He thinks it is his fault for forgetting that Princess C has a magical animal but does not know how to bring it out. When they practice to a certain level, they have power in their bodies, and your body transforms the power into the appropriate animal. Then they hold it, and the magic flows out with it. Then they use their thoughts and their hand or finger to release the beast. This is how the teacher shows his magic beast. The children say that it is a very beautiful creature. The teacher says that a good magician can control the appearance of a magical animal, and he wants to show it to them. On the battlefield, he can turn it into a fierce lion that kills thousands of enemies. C is puzzled to think that she is the only one who gave birth to the animal. She always wondered how the emperor gave birth to his magic beast. Someone has broken through the magic barrier. In the presence of John and Luo, Jui tells His Highness that it is his fault. He says it could be the people who snuck in during last week's meeting and later broke Princess Jen's barrier. Fortunately, this time they only did it to Princess Jen, but if they dare to touch Princess C, the consequences will be very serious. The emperor says that everything is fine. He says that the company can predict it and that scientists in other countries are not so stupid. They will soon be able to calculate it. Whoever wants to cut off their Lolo empire will not miss a single chance to destroy it. Seo says that what will be, and they should not blame themselves. With only 7 years to go, the Lolo empire will be in trouble. These people have entered the palace unnoticed, and perhaps not because of that, but because of the princesses. Even though they cannot predict the specific incident, they can see that the princesses have a special relationship. They can all guess this. But if they let other countries know that Princess C can absorb magic because of how much His Highness loves her, Luo is afraid that this tragedy will happen again. The Emperor asks John to organize their training. He wants them to have basic self-defense skills before the danger comes. But this is too difficult for one teacher. They are all the Emperor's children, so how can he train them hard? Co asks not to be soft with them just because they are a prince and princess. John is a warrior, and he must know that they will only be able to protect themselves through intense training. A flower under a glass cap, in spite of its beauty, cannot survive without protection. The Emperor wants these children to be able to survive on their own when he dies. John bows and says he understands and will try his best to teach them. His Highness has a look on his face as if he misses his younger self. Luo could understand. The year his father died, other countries came to kill the royal family of the Lolo Empire. He couldn't forget the desperate look on his Highness's face. In the evening, C visited Princess Fan's palace. It was raining heavily, and the princess offered to stay the night. C says that she should not, and that she and her maid must return. It is too late, and she has come here to use the toilet, which is very annoying, and she should not stay here. When the girl leaves, Fan thinks that she feels that Princess Zai's magic is stronger than the prince's. She is surprised that C hasn't learned purification magic. She learned it in the first lesson last year. Juan and the emperors are walking in the rain, and the boy tells his Highness that he has completed his investigation. At this time, there were 5 people who had snuck in from 3 countries. General John discovered them. The scientists are in charge of treating them to prevent them from using the poison to commit suicide. Co tells him to find people who can return them safely to their home country after an investigation. The young man thinks that his Highness' decision is very reasonable. The spies are walking into a trap, and he sends them back home. The emperors of those countries will be very angry. Suddenly, they see C and her maid. The emperor asks Jui what they are doing out so late. The boy tells him that they were at Princess Fan's house and that they may have gone to the bath. He tells them that Princess C and Shirley still have to go to the bathroom. But in the whole palace, Princess Fan is the only one with a toilet. C asks if the princess doesn't have a toilet. Jui says that's right. The emperor orders that tomorrow he will gather several men to build toilets throughout the palace. They must be of the highest quality. He also ordered John to teach the useless girl the magic of body purification within a week. Otherwise, he will dismiss him. In the next lesson, John asks if there is anyone here who does not know the body purification magic except Princess C. Maybe Princess May, who learned this magic earlier this year, doesn't know either. In any case, he thinks it's his fault for forgetting that they are still ignorant children. He should teach them the basics, and then start the devilish training as the emperor said. May asks if he is looking at her. The girl says she has known this magic for a long time. Her maid Lin also knows magic, and she taught her. Fan thought there were no more than 10 servants in the palace. All the girls chosen to serve in the palace are ordinary, so how can Princess May's maid be a magician? Is she the only one who knows nothing about it? The prince asks if C does not know the magic of body cleansing. He wonders how she dealt with this problem before. He forgets that Princess May and Lin come from magical families. May must have learned purification magic before the prince. John says that since Princess C is the only one who needs to learn purification magic, he will teach her after today's lesson. Today, they will continue to learn how to breed magical animals. The prince's rabbit and the princess's panda disappear. The teacher tells them not to panic. Just try to get their animals out the way he showed them yesterday. He tells Princess May and Fan that even though they don't have any magic animals of their own, they can try. This exercise will help them explore their ability to control magic. The teacher asks them to do their best. The prince is the first to succeed in getting his animal out of his finger. John claps his hands and says that this is very good, and now the prince can get his magic pet out with experience. Next, he will do some speed training for him. In reality, however, the rabbit is too weak to be a magical creature. Besides, it might not even be able to defend itself. But they just have to concentrate on its flexibility, and then they will multiply its speed to the contract level. Even if he cannot destroy beasts, they will not be able to reach him. C is also trying to get his panda out. John tells her to take her time and slow down a bit. Princess C's magic animal is a black and white panda, small but fierce. He will arrange for Princess C to practice her attacks. but she is too young and her skills are weak. He must first teach her to control her power. Otherwise, as her magic grows, she may become a danger to herself. Suddenly, May begs the teacher to pay attention to her. She manages to bring out her magic animal, and it is a butterfly. This kind of magic animal is very rare. Only one person in the Lolo Empire has such an animal, and that is Sri. Princess May and Princess C are children with strong magic powers. The teacher could not have predicted that Princess May would be able to summon her magic beast in just 3 years. This child has an incredibly bright future. John says that this is very good and that this type of magic animal is the best in terms of offensive or defensive abilities as well as information gathering. He tells the princess that her magic animal is very powerful, and her butterfly is female. Before she learns to control this magic, the girl must not let it go even half a step. May says she understands and thanks the teacher. If C calls her magic animal a panda, she will call hers a little butterfly. John approaches Princess Fan and asks her if she has any feelings after practicing the magic of releasing a magic animal for so long. The girl says she does not feel anything yet. The teacher says that everything is fine and there is no need to rush. The magic powers of these children are very strange. When John was 13, Jui was 11, and His Highness was 10. They were called the 3 heroes of the Lolo Empire. But these children can bring out their magical pets at the age of 3-4, which is very unexpected. Luckily, Princess Fan is still a normal child. The magic in her body is small, even though it already exists. If she trains hard, she will be sure to release her magic pet. And C can't get her animal out through her finger, and it seems she wants to get it out through her stomach again. She calls for the teacher. John tells the princess not to panic and to try to free her pet as he told her to. The girl tries but cannot. Seo appears and orders his animal to eat the useless girl. And just then the beast attacks Seo. She manages to free the panda. The panda appeared with a desire to kill in his eyes, and the emperor's dragon was frightened by it. The panda struck him with all his might and he flew away. That panda was more aggressive than John thought. It was a small dragon, but it was still a dragon. Seo asks his daughter if she understands. The girl thinks he told the dragon to eat her to help her release the magic animal. The girl says she understands. It turns out that releasing a magical animal does not mean giving birth to it. Releasing it does not hurt at all. C asks his father why he is here. The emperor finds their smiles ugly. He tells his daughter that there is a child who wants to meet him. The emperor walks away and the girl catches up with him and asks who wants to meet her. The prince asks C to wait for him. John thinks that His Highness was very angry about getting the dragon's blood for the prince, otherwise he would not have brought him here. But he wonders who this child is who wanted to meet Princess C when the emperor himself came to get her. Fang thinks that Princess C is so happy that the emperor helped her get the magic beast, and she wants him to help her as well. Suddenly, the princess notices the prince's animal on her shoulder. May says that he seems to love her more than Jin. She asks the teacher if he knows why. John tries to understand the cause by using magic. He saw something in the princess. May asks the teacher if he has found the cause. The man says that his strength is running out and he doesn't know yet. In fact, he has realized which magical creature belongs to Princess Fan. May is sure that he knows. C sees that her brother wanted to meet her, and Shirley is crying in the background. She asks her brother what is going on. The boy says he came to see her because he didn't know what else to do. The princess asks him not to worry and just to tell her what is wrong. The brother tells her that since his parents had been in the palace, they had been angry and had broken everything. They came to the maid's house and beat her parents, and they took away their house. C asked how they could do this. The princess approaches Shirley and apologizes, saying it was her fault. The maid begs to help her parents. What should the princess do? Should she go to the emperor and beg him to help her? But the last time she asked him to help Shirley, he refused, and if she asks him to help her parents, he might get angry. And if she gets into trouble again, will she still beg him? She punishes herself for being so weak and unable to protect even those around her. Shirley continues to plead with the princess. The girl says she will ask her father for permission to leave the palace and go there, but the prince does not think this is a good idea. C asks why not, because they are her parents and she can handle them. The boy says he didn't mean it that way. As far as he knows, it is very difficult for ordinary people to use magic, but she may have noticed that princesses like her are ordinary people, but they can use it easily. C noticed that even though she is from another world, she is an ordinary person. What's more, these adopted princesses are also magicians, which is very strange. The prince says that magic is natural, but not everyone is strong enough to use it. Magic is easiest for aristocrats because they inherit it through blood. They are born with magical powers. And the more noble a person is, the more such germs are in his blood. Magical powers are not difficult to transmit. When the princesses came to the palace, their father put these germs into their bodies so that they had no difficulty in using magic. C understands everything. But she asks what this has to do with her going away. The prince explains that she has a ceremony to go through and that she cannot leave the palace until she becomes an intermediate level magician. Otherwise, she will die. The princess asks what she should do if she cannot leave the palace, so how can she help Shirley? Suddenly May and Fan appear and tell Princess C not to worry because she has them. Although May is only allowed 3 hours on the surface of the earth each day, her maid Lin is allowed to leave the palace and they can help Shirley deal with C's parents. May can help keep Shirley's parents from getting hurt. Fang takes C's hand and says that although she can't do much, she can let her parents into her house. Her father is a fisherman, but he knows a little about medicine. If they are hurt, her father will heal them. C is very grateful to her sisters. Unlike 3 years ago, she is no longer alone. She has great friends who think of ways to help her. She doesn't have to bear everything alone, and she feels very good about what she has. In the Emperor's office, Jui informs His Highness that he has completed the investigation. This child is not lying. Princess Zai's parents really did take away Miss Shirley's house. And according to the news, her parents were badly beaten. Luo asks how they can be so cruel. The princess is so sweet, so why does she have such horrible parents? Luo asks His Highness if he will help C in this matter because Shirley is very important to her. The Emperor says yes. Luo notices that His Highness has been staring at the document in front of him for more than 10 minutes and that he may be waiting for Princess C to persuade him. Now the Emperor is like a living person, and whether he is happy or sad, his behavior is clear. After the death of Queen Cher, he was gloomy for many years. He was as cold as an iceberg. When he had to defend the kingdom, Prince Jian was too weak. He feared that the Emperor would kill himself. But luckily he had Princess C. And thanks to her, His Highness became more emotional. An hour and a half has passed, and the Emperor is still sitting and looking at the document. Jui tells His Highness that he is going to check on Princess C. Meanwhile, May shows the princesses what is happening somewhere in real time. This is a very exciting sight for the children. Fan says she did not expect Princess May to have such an ability. The girl says this is the first time she has shown her ability to other people. The images are not clear, but she asks to try to see. C thinks that Princess May is very strong. Even though the image is a little weak, it looks very much like a real-time shot. She thinks it would be cool if she had this ability. They are followed by the Raven of Jua. The children see Lin telling Zai's parents that they must leave Miss Shirley's house while she is still good. Otherwise, they will be sorry. The woman asks who she is and says she is just a servant. Her husband says he will beat her to death with a club. Lin begins to use magic and says if they do, she won't bother with them. In any case, if they are Princess Zai's parents, she will not kill them. The man and woman don't understand what this magic is, but it already begins to work on them. They begin to run in panic and call for help. Their youngest son begins to worry about them, and Lin assures him that they are fine and that she was only warning them. They will not dare to come here again. C asks Princess May what Miss Lin did and why they were so afraid. The girl doesn't know, but she can look into her parents' minds to find out. C realizes it's illusion magic and it looks so powerful. The prince thinks that C is very strong to be able to use magic at such a young age. He did not expect Princess May to be very strong as well. He thinks that he is the only one who is weak. The prince needs to get stronger, and he needs to practice more and more. Alphonse did not expect Miss Lin to be so strong. She sees that Princess May is also very strong. His raven, who has been watching the children, arrives at Jui's house, and the boy tells His Highness that everything is bad. Princess May's seal is weakened. She tells the princesses and the prince what she sees, and it is really bad. Fan tells Princess May that she didn't expect Miss Lin to be so strong. May says she learned that today as well. She thought she was just a maid who knew a little magic, but suddenly she was so powerful. C says it's strange that such a strong magician is usually a maid. May doesn't know the explanation either. C wonders about the relationship between Princess May and Miss Lin. If her father hid her in the dungeon, he must be hiding something. Suddenly, the Emperor appears and tells them not to do this again. Suddenly May's eyes turn red and C asks what is wrong with her. Fang and Jiang are also very concerned about the princess. The girl says her eyes are fine. The Emperor lifts May by her dress and says that he sees they have a lot of free time now. Then he commanded them to go and run 20 rounds. And C is to run all 30. He orders Joyu to stay behind to supervise them. The children are not very happy with the news. May is lying in bed and the Emperor removes the bandage from her eyes. John says the princess is seriously injured. The Emperor says that she does not realize how strong she is and that she is making trouble for herself. He treats her eyes, and the teacher thinks that the Emperor adopted her 3 years ago. The first time he saw her, she was a crying baby. The following describes the events 3 years later, after Princess C was locked in the firewood room. John, Luo, Jui, Fan, and Jen were walking in the rain with the Emperor. Jui asked His Highness if he wanted to adopt many girls. He did not want to hear a child's cry every day. It was hard enough for His Highness because of Princess C. The Emperor said that he did not have enough and that he would have to find more. Suddenly, a girl ran up to them and asked His Highness if he was Seo, the king of the Lolo Empire. Everyone immediately wondered who the girl was and why she dared to speak the Emperor's name. The princesses began to weep loudly. Shio asked who she was and why she was looking for him. The girl kneeled down and said that if he still remembered Queen Cher, he should follow her and ask her to help her family, the Prawn. But the queen had long since left them. John didn't think there were any other people who would dare to mention her in front of His Highness. Besides, the Prawn family is a famous magical family and there is much gossip about them. The Emperor orders the princesses to be brought to the palace. He orders John to go with them. The girl uses magic to get them there. When they arrive at the scene, then there are many people with a very short-sighted look in their eyes. John asks Mrs. Wick and Lin what happened to these people. The girl tells him to ignore them as they are under the spell of low-level magic. John says that if it is low-level magic, why can't she help them herself? The Emperor asks if the child is a mage. The girl asks how he knows. Shio says he just guessed. Because her hands move like a baby sucking milk. Only a baby could do that. Lin says he is right. John wonders how it is possible. Even though it's low-level magic, it's affected so many people. Lin tells the Emperor that he is an exceptional man. Now she understands why Queen Cher loved him no matter what. The girl dispels the magic, and the people begin to come to their senses. And in a second, they are children again. John asks Lin what it means and if she didn't just break the magic. Shio asks if she needs his help because she doesn't want to hurt the baby. The girl says that she does and that the child is very special. She asks for help for Queen Cher's sake. Lin asks to enter the house. Inside lies a bewitched woman just like the one outside. It is the girl's mother and she asks if she is well. Lifting the blanket, Lin reveals that the woman is pregnant and says that the child who works this magic is her younger sister. But in practice, instead of calling her a child, she should be called a fetus because she hasn't been born yet. John finds it hard to believe what the child looks like and that the child who does this magic is an unborn fetus. The Emperor remembers that Cher asked him to help her with something. If she died and her family was in trouble, she wanted him to help them. Shio begins to use magic and tells Lin that he can help her, but only once. The girl is very grateful to His Highness. The Emperor says that there is no need to thank him, and that he is helping her because of Zhu, not because of her. He orders her to leave and let him and John stay here. After that, she is not to come in without his permission, no matter what she hears. John asks His Highness if they are the only ones here dealing with a pregnant woman. The Emperor says that they are, and he will use magic to induce her to give birth while he controls the child in her womb with magic, and John will deliver the child. The man asks what he is saying, and if he means that a man like him will have to deliver her baby. Shio says that is exactly what he means. John asks why he should trust Miss Lin to do it. His Highness says this is a special child. If someone in the family gives birth, it will be dangerous for them, so they must help them. Although the curse in the Emperor's body is controlled, he cannot have contact with women for long, especially adults. So it can only be John. The man thinks His Highness has gone too far. He has never talked so much in one day. He hasn't married yet, and now he's going to have a baby. What if the gossip spreads? John asks His Highness where the purple color comes from. He replies that the purple magic comes from the child, and it seems that she is trying to stop him. He now tells John to get ready. Now he orders the delivery, but John still resists. He cries out that he does not know how to deliver and has never touched a woman. Meanwhile, Lin is outside the door wondering what's going on and wants to go in, but is stopped by the Emperor's words. She has faith in Cher and the Emperor, and that he will get through this. Suddenly, a child's cry comes from the house. Yisio tells the girl to come in. Lin enters the house and sees her sister, who is only 7 months old. The Emperor says that this little one has special magic, and he is afraid that she will not live long. If they agree, he can take her back to the palace, adopt her, and raise her for Cher's sake. The mother is very grateful to the Emperor. This is the end of the story. Lin enters May's room and asks what has happened to the girl. She has only been gone a second, and something has happened. The Emperor reassures the girl that the princess is well. He throws May into the arms of a maid who tells her that she is no longer allowed to practice magic without his permission, and she is not to teach her her family's magic in secret, unless she wants the girl to explode and die. Lin hugs the princess and promises never to teach her family magic again. Even if Lin cannot teach her the family magic, he will find people who can. The girl says that everything is all right. She just wants the girl to grow up safe, and she doesn't need to learn magic to do that. John sees that Miss Lin is having a hard time. Princess May was born prematurely and will not live long because of her magic. She must live 100 meters underground under the Emperor's seal. This is the only way she can grow normally. 3 years ago, Lin asked the Emperor to take her and her sister because she and her mother were not safe. She asked to be an ordinary maid and to take care of them. For Princess May's sake, Miss Lin gave up her position as a fairy, to come here and become a miserable maid who can't even tell the princess the truth. In John's opinion, this is truly pathetic. Meanwhile, C cheers on the other runners. She runs in front of them, telling them to keep running, and they have already completed 10 laps. Jiang tells C to slow down. Fan says that she can't run anymore and that she is tired to death. Luo begins to work restorative magic on them and tells them not to be afraid. He says that with his protective magic they will not be harmed, and they will not have to die laughing at the prince and princess. Luo sees that Jiang has become much stronger, and it seems that Princess Zai's methods are working. Jui shouts at the prince and princess not to give up. Princess C has only 20 rounds left, and Prince Jiang and Princess Fan have 10 rounds left. He hadn't expected C's body to be so strong. Even a grown man would be very tired after 10 rounds around the palace. But she is not tired at all and even runs faster. In addition, the two of them are under the influence of healing magic. but it is absorbed by her, so she has to do everything herself. He believes that the girl has a great future ahead of her. The Emperor and John approach Jui, and His Highness asks if they have finished their run. The boy says they are nearly finished. Seo orders John to hurry them. The man asks His Highness if he thinks it's too good. The Emperor just looks at him, and John understands everything by his look. John calls his lion. The children are immediately frightened when they see the beast. It begins to run after them. After 2 hours they were very tired, but they finished their run. The prince told his father that they had finished. Fan says that this time they ran much faster and finished in only 2 hours. Seo says that this is not so bad. From now on they will run 20 laps every morning. The children are not very happy with the news. The Emperor asks C to hurry up because everyone else has finished and she is so slow. The girl reminds him that she has to run 30 laps, not 20. His Highness says that she is stronger than they are, but that she must speed up for the last 10 laps by summoning her dragon. He tells her to hurry or he will make Shirley run as well. And the princess begins to run even faster. C is being chased by a lion and a dragon, and she encourages herself for Shirley's sake, for she cannot allow her to run as well. The audience does not know whether to admire or pity this girl. The Emperor says she is magnificent, and now she looks like a real princess of the Lolo Empire. He says that she will now run 40 laps every morning and only have breakfast afterwards, and the girl agrees without argument. The Emperor is sure that hard training will secure her future. John, Jui, and Luo think she is so unhappy and His Highness so cruel. Fan thinks 20 laps is too much for her. Prince also feels sorry for C. After the race, the Emperor comes to Shirley and C's room. Luo asks if he has decided to take care of the girl. After all, he let the child run for 7 hours without a break. Seo says that 30 rounds in that time is a miserable result and is not good enough. Luo says that even an adult can't go that long without a break, and the princess is only 3 years old. But she is very strong. She ran the first 10 laps in 4 hours and the other 10 in 2 hours, the last 10 in just over an hour. Luo was a good runner as a child, but he was no match for her. The Emperor touches his daughter's head and says that this is her strength. He wants to know what the girl can do. Meanwhile, in the palace of the Gaga Empire, the brother of the 17th, Nemo the 18th, asks the 17th for help. The boy asks his brother why he is bruised. Nemo says that the 4th brother has found out that he is a girl and wants to kill him. Mincy asks how this can be. The king of the Gaga Empire has 18 sons and no daughters because he got rid of the girls right away. Nemo was born 4 years ago, and his mother cried that it was a girl. Then his father came into the room and asked his older brother Neska if it was a boy or a girl. The prince answered his father that he had checked everything and it was a boy, but he was afraid that the child would not live long. To save the baby's life, he deceived the emperor. Nakong said that he would be of no use in the future, but allowed him to keep him. The mother was very grateful to the emperor. Nakong told her not to worry. He promised to protect her. Suddenly someone calls for the 18th brother. And then he clarifies that he is not looking for a brother, but for a sister. It is the 4th prince of Nayu. He tells her to come here and that the king will find out. He says that Nemo, his mother, and her family will die. The boy asks his 17th brother what they should do, saying that he does not want to die. The 17th brother tells her not to be afraid and assures her that she is safe with him. And Nayu finds her. He tells little 18 not to be afraid and calls her a dog and tells her to come to him. He says as long as she and her mother entertain him, no one will know their little secret. Nemo cries and tells her 4th brother not to tell anyone. The boy says she should come to him. He says he will kill her otherwise and grabs her hand. He is stopped by the 17th and told not to insult the 18th. Nayu asks if he is his talented 17th brother. He asks if he has already succeeded in summoning a magical animal and if he has the courage to interfere. His spy in the Lolo Empire reports that princes and princesses of 3-4 years old can summon their pets. A genius like him, who could kill his mother as a baby, asks if he can't summon his pet and if he isn't wasting his time. The boy says that he cannot summon his animal yet and asks if he did not summon it himself when he was 17 years old. The boy says that he may be useless, but he is sure that he will call his animal before he is 17. He asks what he thinks. Naya is very angry about this. He calls his animal and says that he thinks he is tired of life and must die. The 17th asks if, having killed his brother in the palace, he is not afraid that his father will find out. The boy says that he has put up a protective barrier so that no one will touch them. Nayu asks if he remembers when Seo killed their 3 princes. He says he will do the same and then blame him. He tells 17 that he will die. The father was cold to the 4th, but in the 17th he found peace of mind. And if he wished to die, the 4th would gladly grant his wish. 17 says that his plan is not so bad after all. Nayu says he is weak in magic, but his mind works. He says he will let him die painlessly. The boy asks if he really wants to show him his mercy and says that he might thank him. But he does not give up easily. The 17th tells his brother to rest in peace and to remember that he was killed by Emperor Seo. He strikes the boy in the stomach and his mouth bleeds. His last words were to ask how he had such strength, for he was only 7. The 17th says that this is so and why it happened. He closes his brother's eyes and says that it is the murderer of the Lolo Empire. He asks the 18th to remember that this is the work of Emperor Seo. He is not worthy to be called her brother. He says that sooner or later he will have to be killed to protect her and her mother, so do not worry about him. The boy says that the 4th is dead, but there will be more troubles and she must know what to do. Suddenly, the 17th man hurts himself with magic. He tells Naaman not to worry because the 4th is not that weak, so if he died and the boy was not even hurt, suspicion would be raised. The boy begins to shout that the assassins of the Lolo Empire have attacked them and that they need help. He asks the 4th person for help, and the 4th person also calls for help. Nakong comes immediately and asks what has happened and who killed his son. 17 says that he does not quite understand what happened either. He says that he and 18 were playing here when they heard the 4th scream. When they came over, he was fighting with someone in a black suit. 18 confirms this and says that the person in the black suit was trying to kill them. But fortunately 17's brother was there to save him. Nakong asks him why he is crying and calls him a little boy who is useless. He strikes her in the stomach and says that princes in his kingdom do not cry. 17 supports 18. The priest turns to the princes and asks if he can find out something, for he is troubled by something in the story. 18 says he may ask. He tells the prince in 17 that his room is far from the room of the 4th prince, and now it is midnight, so why should he go to him? He also asks why he has put a protective barrier around his room. Also, Prince 18 said that the assassin wanted to kill him, but he could not because Prince 17 stopped him. It is strange that Prince 4 could not defeat the assassin, so how could they? The boy tells his father and teacher that he does not know why the 4th man came, but the 4th man put up a barrier, probably because he wanted to stop the murderer, and he was able to hit the murderer. The boy coughs up blood. She says that since the 4th man was able to tire the killer, he was lucky to hit him. Nakong says he should not have asked. He thinks it was definitely that damned Seo. He thinks that now Seo has no right to accuse him of being cruel. So the murderer appeared in the room on the 18th and wanted to kill him. But for some reason the 4th person died. But fortunately for Nakong, it was he who died. If the 17th had died, all his efforts would have been in vain. Nakong tells the boy to follow him and that from that day on he will begin special training. He says that in 3 months his magic should be at least at an arbitrary level. 17 asks his father what kind of training and why all of a sudden. This is all he cares about after the death of the 4th, and it is easier than the boy expected. Nakong says that he will train him for 3 months, and then he will enter the competition of intermediate-level magicians. The boy reminds him that he has not yet summoned his magic animal. The emperor tells him to be quiet and follow him. He promises his son that he will help him summon it, but first he must become stronger. His father tells him that he must kill Prince Jiang and Princess Si during the competition. The teacher asks His Highness if he really wants to use this method. In order to participate in the competition, one must be able to summon an animal. But the 18th prince does not have the power to do this, and the only other option is to use the abduction spell. But stealing another's animal is not so easy. A special spell must be cast on a living wizard, and his animal will be released. However, during the spell, the caster will experience excruciating pain. Still, he must survive, for with the death of the master, the beast also disappears. The animal is then reunited with its new owner. This also causes tremendous pain. Nakong stole the 9-tailed fox from the previous emperor, and it cost him a lot. Would he really allow Prince 17 to go through such pain? The teacher is worried, but he tries to calm down. No matter what His Highness decides, he knows what he is doing, and he has been through this before. With His Highness' help, Prince 17 should be able to do this more easily. The following events take place in the palace of the Lolo Empire. Si sees that her father has built her a new toilet. Jui tells Shirley and Si that the emperor has ordered him to tell them that he will now work for them, and from that day on, he will be the princess's personal bodyguard. He also adds that Princess Si and Miss Shirley will no longer be able to visit Princess Fan. The princess asks if her father knows. Jui announces that the best toilet for the princess is now being built in every room of the palace. Si says that this toilet looks very expensive. It looks so luxurious that she doesn't even want to use it and would rather sell it. Suddenly, the toilet speaks to the girl. He asks her to be sure that he will make sure that she has the best experience possible. He will also look at her excretory system. The princess finds this a bit creepy. She leaves the room thinking that Shirley should use it, and she'll use Princess Fan's toilet. Still, you should learn the cleansing magic as soon as possible. Outside at the well, Si thinks that she won't be able to sleep after all this, so she'd better practice a bit. Teacher John says she has trouble controlling her magic and needs to work on it. The girl begins to emanate magic. The water in the well rises. The prince is watching the girl in the bushes, and Rocky approaches him and asks what he is doing here, saying that it doesn't matter anyway and that he has to drink the dragon's blood. He says that the boy has been moving around a lot today and needs to rest. The prince agrees to take the medicine. The doctor also tells John that after he drinks everything he should go straight to bed because it is too late to go out. The prince agrees. Rocky wonders what could have made the prince drink the potion so quickly. It used to take him an hour and a half to finish. He realizes that it is all because of Princess Si. Jin asks Mr. Rocky to return to the castle, but he reminds her that he just agreed to go back to bed. John says he has something to do and asks him to wait. He tells them to go back first and not to worry, and that he will be back later. Rocky thinks the prince is understandable because Princess Si is very special. He also begins to like her more and more. Suddenly, Aiko appears and begs Rocky not to let her deceive him. The man asks the teacher what he means. Aiko asks him not to call him teacher since he lost that position because of Shi's efforts. Rocky asks why, since Aiko's family members have always been teachers in the palace, and how could this happen? Aiko says that this girl is not normal and asks how such power can come from an ordinary girl. The former teacher says that while he was teaching, she suddenly decided to attack him with magic and even encouraged the prince to do so. He asks if Rocky hasn't noticed that the Lord has changed a lot since he met her. But Rocky would never have thought that she was such a person. Aiko says not to worry and that he knows what to do. He asks Rocky to join him in killing Princess Si, all for the sake of the future prince. 2 weeks later at the Emperor's palace. The Emperor speaks to someone in a dream. He asks who she is. She tells him to tell her name. In the dream, the girl asks him if he is all right and how he got here. She asks him not to lose consciousness, saying that this palace is so huge and that he is the only person here whom she can ask. The woman tells him to answer first and then sleep as long as he wants. The Emperor asks who she is, lying on the grass. The girl is happy that he is finally awake. She promises that she will not harm him and that she just needs to know something. Once she has revenge on someone, she will leave his realm and she will not kill innocent people. The emperor asks if she will kill people in his palace. The girl asks if he means to say that this is his palace and that he is the damned Emperor Lolo Shio. Shio draws his sword, rises, and asks if she means him. The girl thinks she has finally found him, and if she had known, she would have killed him while he was unconscious, and she missed the opportunity. The emperor says that she wants revenge and asks how he could have harmed her. The girl thinks she has spoken without thinking and wonders what she can think of now. She picks a flower from a bush. She asked him how he could do such a thing. To strike a stranger, and where are his manners? He also cut off her flower, so he deserves no forgiveness. The emperor wonders whether she is mad, but that does not matter to him now, and he must kill her. He summons his dragon. The girl asks if he is really going to kill her. Now she understands the people who say he is mad because he is trying to kill an innocent woman. She says it's even better that way, so she can fight a talented opponent. Summons his magic animal. The emperor asks who she is and why her animal is a phoenix. The phoenix is an animal of the Kayan royal family, but their empire was destroyed long ago. He orders her to tell him where she got the bird by throwing crystals at it. The girl says that this means that he also knows about the fall of the Kayan Empire. She asks if the emperor knows that it was he who destroyed the empire and asks who killed the queen. Seo asks what she means. He wakes up in a cold sweat and immediately thinks of Cher. He uses magic to summon Luo, who asks His Highness why he called him so late. The man asks the emperor what is wrong, and the emperor says he has no face. He asks if he cannot sleep and is in pain, if such a big boy cannot take care of himself, and what he will do when he dies. Seo says that he dreamt of Cher. Luo doesn't understand why he is dreaming about Queen Cher, and if it is because of Princess May. After all, it was Queen Cher who accidentally destroyed the Prong family's protective barrier, and she is the reason why bad luck has plagued the family. The emperor says it doesn't matter and orders Luo to follow him. Luo thinks that His Highness is too old to call him every time he has a nightmare, and perhaps it is time to find a new queen. Seo says that he only ordered you to follow him, and that you shouldn't look at him like that. Suddenly, a voice from far away says, "Watch out, little bunny, I'm using all my power." Luo noticed Si playing with Jiang in the garden. The princess pours water on the prince. Luo tells the emperor that the prince's body is weak and that it might make him sick and that he will take care of it immediately. Seo says that this is not necessary and asks to see his face, saying that his actions will only spoil their fun. All wet, Jiang tells Zai that she is so cruel. The girl says she is not cruel, but beautiful. Suddenly, Jui comes up to them and tells the prince that his body isn't as strong as Princess Zai's, and he thinks he shouldn't fight her anymore. The boy says he knows, and Si looks at him with satisfaction. Suddenly, the prince tells Si to look under her feet and tells her that she is trapped and that she must be careful. The girl's feet are indeed stuck in some kind of disgusting mud. Jui takes the girl in his arms and tells her that time is up and she has lost. It's a battlefield and Prince Jiang has set a trap and caught her, so she must be more careful. The boy cleans her feet with a cleansing spell. But the girl absorbs the magic. Si says she will not accept this ending. She knows her time is up, but doesn't believe she has lost. The emperor says this is a very interesting spectacle. He approaches the children and asks the princess what ending she would like. They are very surprised to see their father here. The emperor asks the princess why she is dissatisfied with the result. The girl thinks that perhaps she should not have poured water on him from head to toe because her father looks very angry. He must have been angry when he saw her throwing water on the prince. The girl says that she saw Prince Jian use magic to create a trap, but she didn't think much of it, so she decided to attack first and throw water on him. She says it was just a practice fight and she didn't mean to hurt him. Shio says he understands. He thinks that the girl knows how to use water magic to attack at such a young age, and if she is given some time to grow up, she will easily be able to win entire wars by herself in the future. C asks if the victory is really hers. The girl thinks she is the best in the world and must fight and protect Shirley. The Emperor says that even if she kills her target first, she will still be trapped and eventually die. He asks the princess if she thinks she is strong enough to escape on her own. C thinks he is right. The girl realizes that even if she defeats the enemy, she will still fail, and she is so weak. Luo pats the princess on the head and asks if she is sad. He observes that Princess C is very strong and cannot be defeated easily. The girl asks if he really thinks she is strong. Luo says that of course he does, and that Princess Zai's strength is truly impressive. The girl thinks he only said that to reassure the child. Luo thinks that otherwise she will get depressed, and that C knows that children need to be praised often. C hugs the old man, thanks him, and says she will try harder. She promises to be stronger. Luo tells her not to pay attention to what His Highness says. He takes the girl in his arms and tells her that no matter what the Emperor says, he is proud of her. Seo tells the girl that she is his daughter and to look at herself, such a bad girl. He takes her in his arms and tells her that her dress is wrinkled and dirty, and that she has also made Uncle Luo dirty. He asks the girl if she is happy. C sees that she is indeed dirty. The Emperor says he will punish her at home, but the princess begs him not to. Jiang says he has been visiting Zai for 6 months to practice magic and begs her not to be punished. Sai asks if he dared to question the Emperor's decision. He examines his son and sees that he is still weak, but his body is strong and his magic is even better. He wonders if it is all because of this little girl. He tells his son not to lie to him or he will punish them both. Jui gets down on one knee and tells the Emperor that it was his idea to train, so he alone should be punished, not the prince and princess. The Emperor says he will punish them anyway. C thinks this is very bad and his father is angry. They see that the Emperor's hackle is very ominous and do not know what to do. Shio is ready to give his judgment. He says that from now on they will both sleep with him for a whole month. The princess thinks it would be better to run 100 laps around the garden, but she cannot sleep with the Emperor. Luo thinks the Emperor has been having nightmares lately, so he wants someone to be by his side when he sleeps. He still doesn't understand how such a high-ranking member of the community, the Emperor himself, could have nightmares. Once, when he was a child, his dragon Brew woke the Emperor in the middle of the night. Usually he came to wake him in the morning, but that night there was something unusual, as if he had something to say. Fortunately, he has a wonderful family now, especially Si and Jiang. They are beautiful children. Luo hopes they will have fun making love. The following events take place the next day in the arena near the Imperial Palace. Si, Jiang, and Fan hurry to see Jui and Shirley. Si tells her he is sorry they are late. The boy says that everything is fine and that they have just arrived. He thinks the children have gotten stronger in just half a month. It used to take Princess C 7 hours to run 40 laps, but now it takes her only 3 hours. Prince Jiang and Princess Fan are also doing well. Before it took them 6 hours to run 20 laps. Now it takes them only 3 hours. This is great progress. Shirley turns to the prince and princesses and asks if they would like to eat, as they must be very hungry. The children are glad to eat. AC asks Jui what he is going to teach them today and where John is. He explains that Mr. John is teaching Princess May, so he will be her teacher today. Fan tells Jui that they don't usually study outside and asks why they aren't in class today. Jiang and Si are also curious. Jui says that up to now they have only studied theory, and His Highness knows that. So today they will begin to practice. Suddenly the evil images begin to come to life. The children are very frightened and begin to run away. His Highness says that there are about 100 scarecrows, and whatever they do, they must destroy them all before noon. Otherwise, they will not have lunch today. Jui tells Shirley that it is very dangerous here and asks to be allowed to take her away. They leave together. They leave the children surrounded by the scarecrows and order them to fight. Once Jui and Shirley are in a safe place, the maid asks the boy why he let them fight in a real battle. She knows that Prince Jian has been practicing for a year, but that's no reason to let him fight in a real battle. Princess C has only been practicing for a month, and she asks if she really has to fight. The boy says that he is in a hurry and has no more ideas for studying. He has no idea what kind of power the enemy empire has. King Kai has personally invited Princess C and Prince Jiang, and he asks Shirley if she knows what will happen if he thinks their magical abilities are incompetent. The girl says they are only children and asks why His Highness has not declined the invitation. The boy says that this time Emperor Kai has invited all the empires, and if His Highness does not accept, it will be impolite. This competition is very important. If he refuses, their empire will be lowered in Kai's eyes. Once the people know about Zai's abilities, there will be no emperors who will ignore her. His Highness is not cruel, but they must now prepare for the dangers. The children fight with the scarecrows, but C notices that they are not hurt. Although wounded, they continue to fight. Fan is surrounded by the scarecrows and calls for help. C orders the panda to help the princess. The prince's rabbit also helps, and he throws one of the statues to the ground. C has an idea, and it seems that she now knows how to defeat them. If she tears their straw, they won't be able to move. She tells her panda to show them, and she does it to another scarecrow. The children begin to break the straw together for their lunch. Jui sees that they have torn them to pieces so easily, though he has put the strength of a raven into these scarecrows. Though these stuffed animals are not very strong, the children are amazed that they have torn them apart so easily. The prince and princesses shake hands as their mission is accomplished. C asks Jui how his date with Shirley went. The children say they tore up all the scarecrows and ask if they can go to lunch. The boy says of course they can. They say goodbye and go to eat. John comes up to Jui and asks how he is, saying that it must be hard to teach these children. The boy says that these children have their own peculiarities, especially Princess C. Her intelligence, her reaction, and her explosive power, everything about her is extraordinary. John agrees that she is special. Jui says they are too young anyway. His Highness wants them to reach an intermediate level of magic, and that's a challenge. If they don't become intermediate level magicians, John will probably lose his salary for 20 years. Luo and His Highness watch the children from the tower. The seer tells the ruler that he should feel better now. The scarecrows are no threat to them. Luo wants to say that these children are truly wonderful. Princess C is special. She is very wise to realize that these scarecrows must be torn apart. After all, no matter how strong their magic is, they are still sensitive to physical damage. The emperor says it's just a little trick. If she goes to war, it is not certain that she will be able to avoid death. Shio says he is not worried about her at all. Luo thinks that His Highness is still a child. He thinks one thing and says another. If you don't care about them, why did you come to his tower and watch these children fight over their lunch? The children gathered around the table after their training. C said it was very good. Shirley tells the princess to eat slowly because she doesn't look elegant. The girl says she is very hungry. Besides, she thinks she will be better than the panda, the one who eats like a glutton. The girl thinks that pandas only eat bamboo. If she is not a real panda, what is she? She asks Ricky if there is really no problem with her animal eating this kind of food. The man says that there is nothing wrong with it except the act of eating. The general says that magical animals don't have to eat. After all, they are products of their owner's magical power, so their energy also comes from their owner. But some magicians can use special magic to make their magical creatures eat food or do other things. Then their presence becomes food for the body of the wielder. For example, he had heard that some wizards had fallen into the bad habit of commanding their animals to eat other wizards, thus absorbing their power. C asks if this means that the meat eaten by their pet will become fat in their body. She thinks it's over. Given the panda's appetite, it will turn into 100 kg of fat in 6 months. Ricky asks the princess to be sure that until she signs a contract with this animal, what it has eaten will not enter her body. So now it can eat as much as it wants. After it has eaten all of this, what it has eaten will turn into a light magical force and dissipate within half a day. Ricky wonders what kind of stupid question the stupid girl asked. He was told that this girl could destroy Lolo's empire in the future. They must have been joking. The princess sees Uncle Ricky looking at her sternly and wonders if he hates her. By the way, Ricky looked unhappy every time he saw her, and the girl wondered what had happened to him. Perhaps he saw her giving the prince apple juice to drink. Shirley tells C that the panda is still a magical creature, and no one asks him to be elegant and beautiful, but she is still a princess. She thinks she should follow Princess Fan's example. Fan tells Shirley that she doesn't think she should change anything about Princess C because she is already very nice. The prince also finds C charming. But he goes over to the princess and wipes her mouth and says that he remembers her saying that fast food is very bad for the stomach. Fan is curious that the prince and princess are so close. Shirley asks Jin to let her. Ricky thinks that what he was told is right. C is still a little girl, but she can afford to have a prince of the realm as her servant. And what will she do when she grows up? He thinks this girl must die. If you don't want to miss my new videos, support the channel by subscribing and don't forget to like the video.